God of War.
Whew. That's certainly a good one.
There we go.
D-Batch, we're going live.
Hit the button. I'm late. Do it.
I did hit the button. Hang on. Okay, that was 40. I thought it was another soundboard.
I thought it was too.
Yep. Okay.
We're live.
We're live. What's going on, guys? Dealer back again with yet another RDX podcast, Real Deal Xbox podcast, just in case you can't read. Also, hi to everyone in the chat, guys. Thanks for joining us. Hit the like button if you haven't. Share it out. We're getting started with some great topics, great panel members, and really, really cool guest. I think I say it every time. Forte is like one of the most best people in this community when it comes to content on the up and coming. So definitely check him out. We'll get his information as we go along and all that. But again, thanks for joining us. We got some really, really cool topics today. Colt Eastwood, how you been?
Good. Thanks for having me on. It's warming up out here, so I'm ready for a show that's just as warm.
A warm show.
I have no idea what just happened, but I feel like it's room temperature.
It's cold as hell here in Michigan, so I definitely don't think it's warming up out here.
Well, here it's snowing.
26 degrees
it's
here.
Snowing
it's
here.
snowing.
Yeah, so D-Batch, brother, how you been?
I'm good, man. I gotta say it's a fantastic day. Of course, it's 420, so I'm in good spirits. And
I hate you.
and also too, I'd be remiss not to mention it. Like, you know, I know we don't read political and do all that stuff on this channel, but I'd be remiss not to say it. You know, the verdict came down, and we got some justice for George Floyd's family, and you know, for anybody that's been, you know, murdered by the police for no
D-Batch, you're taking this intro to a weird place, sir.
I know, but
I know these are issues that people face and stuff, but
yeah, but it has to be.
we try to make this a place free of real life problems.
I get it. But
Go
as
ahead,
a black panel member, I'd be remiss not to say something about this.
Yeah.
So it's a good day.
Yeah, I'm with you on
Forte's
that.
here. Dude, Forte's here too.
I'm with you on that, man. My wife walked in the house. I was playing basketball with Diller, and the first thing she said when she walked in, she was like, "Guilty on all 3 counts." I was like, "Oh, cool." Because you never know what's going to happen with this stuff.
Never,
as it happens.
Yeah.
Well, Forte, since you chimed in, thanks for joining us. Tim Dog couldn't make it today, by the way. Panel, chat and panel. So Forte is filling in, and again, glad to have him.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. Always trying to be available for RDX, man. You guys are the creme de la creme, man. Let's keep it up.
The creme de la creme. Sounds like a fancy ass shrimp. Hey,
it is.
Fonzarelli, how you been, brother?
Hey, how we living? Yeah, it's
How
great
we
to be
living.
here. It's great to be here, man. Great to have Forte here. I'm excited for him to be here. Forte is one of my favorite dudes here in this community. He knows that, man. Great guy. So, yeah, can't wait to get into these topics, and we've got a lot of good stuff to talk about.
Hell yeah, the first one's gonna be great. Zalker, how you been?
Good. I'm glad to be back. Everybody, thanks for the well wishes and the DMs. People were really like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I just got my second shot and it whooped my ass." I was out, man. I had a fever, chills. I slept for 3 days, man. Like legitimately. I was just like, all right, well, I'm just gonna sit over here like a freaking potato. So yeah, just sat there and messaged Dealer the day of, and glad to be back. I missed the podcast, missed talking games, and
you got butt cheeking plans apparently, according to the chat.
Hey, first of all, my ass looking fucking.
All right.
Oh,
Hey, you said it.
You don't got a scar, people.
All I want to know is, was that your first one or your second shot?
It was a second shot.
Oh, okay. Well, you already made it through the woods. Congratulations.
Yeah, I'm good now.
He through the woods. Hey, shout out to iFace Croc. It's a shout out to the best Xbox podcast on YouTube, 420 Hype. Thank you so much, sir. Glad that's your opinion. We do appreciate it. Again, shout out to the chat. If you haven't already, maybe hit the like button, show a buddy or two, share it out. We do appreciate it on this slow ass Tuesday. We got really good topics, so some people are gonna be missing out. But at the end of the day, again, you make us go. You power the show. So I also want to give a shout out to my patrons, but shout out to you real quick. We got Johnny No Life, Max Power Plays. We got Faultline Z, Fierce Fuzz, MegalifeCBD.com. Man, that's a tongue twister. We've got Not Silic, Alex Emery, Elk Dude, YouTube, Bad Boy Live. By the way, Elk Dude, Gaza Geeks, if you want to come on the show sometime, brother, we'll have you on. Bad Boy Live, Chief Mint, Nano, Polymath, Zordon, Costanza, Wayne, Scout Trooper 74, It's KY Bob Wakanda XNT, Goose 8402, Straw Hat Khalifa, and we've also got Assassin Lupa. We just played some Vermintide yesterday. Foreign Object, Gab, Queez, Teo, John Blue, Big Boss, Steve Vader X, Real Deal Neil, Suicide King, Tasteless Genie, Michael Bowen, Guillermo Cavillo, and as well as All Might Gas, Dark CMF, and Alfonso Hogan. Thank you guys so much. Hey, Sony are holding back. They're ruining Resident Evil on Game Pass. What this whole thing? Nano sent me this topic, right? Nano Polymath, shout out to him. He sent me this thing, and I just saw it. But apparently there is some kind of document out there that has leaked from a contract. We don't know if this is real or not, but it is kind of interesting that several different sources are putting this out there. Sony are trying to stop Resident Evil 8, or they have rather stopped Resident Evil 8 from going to Game Pass.
Wow.
And this is, well, again, keep this in mind. It's not confirmed, but this is something that we did want to talk about because this is, one of their games just went to Game Pass, and we were talking about all this stuff, and we just thought it was relative.
Another bad contract. Fuck.
No, I just thought it was entertaining or something interesting to talk about. But there is apparently a contract between Sony and Capcom as part of maybe some of their marketing stuff or something. It's got what's called an anti-Game Pass clause, basically.
Wow.
Not Sony's words, the source's words or whatever. And it does state that the title will not release in Game Pass for at least 1 year after release as part of some kind of deal. Now, again, D, before you go crazy here and talk about, the food wars and whatnot, you got to say it's not confirmed. Just a good topic I thought we'd open the show with. Because this stuff could happen in the future. Game can't go to PS Now, or game can't go to Game Pass. The services are coming.
I could see Sony doing this, to be really honest with you. And the only way that I would say I could accept it on some level is if Sony was offering something similar on their platform, and they hunkered out some type of deal with Capcom, and it was coming to their PS Now or whatever service they'll have that will compete with Game Pass. Then maybe, I would be like, okay, crappy, but hey, I understand. Just to full out deny it, first of all, well, they would have to cut a check, first of all, to Capcom in order for them to agree to that, because it being on Game Pass would offer them, more revenue. Definitely.
Right.
You have the option to get paid from Game Pass, or you have the option for gamers just to buy it outright. And the reason why I think there might be some truth to this, I was, going through Twitter today, and I saw a couple of posts about MLB The Show, and some people were pointing out, I don't know if this is true, so you guys can keep me up to date on this one, but some people were pointing out that you can't get the Game Pass, the traditional Game Pass discount on MLB The Show. So, where there's smoke, there's fire. There could be some truth to this.
Yeah. I think overall man, what do you expect Sony to do? I mean, after they lost the war of MLB, they probably went back and looked at every last one of their marketing deals with all the games they have, just to say, yo, this is a loophole we got to close. We can't be having the games that we have marketed on our platform showing up in a service where the competitor literally can get the game for cheaper, and they got to pay $60 to $70 on our platform. That's like a double negative for them. So I kind of understand the situation. I don't think I don't even think Sony's in the wrong for doing. I mean, at a certain point, that was kind of an oversight in the contract when it first came up, because let's be for real, nobody thought Microsoft would really go out there and spend the money and get the exclusives inside the Game Pass like they did. Now, a lot of people said this is what they needed to do in order to separate. But this is
kind of close to release, don't you think? A contract like this would be signed quite some time ago.
Oh, no, no, I think D's right, though. I think some money had to go back and change hands. They probably went to them and said, hey, are you putting this inside of Game Pass? Is this a deal that you and Microsoft are, in partnership in doing? And, they probably told us that no, nothing's been inked yet. And they said, well, yeah, don't do that. We're going to do this. How much money is it going to take for you not to throw it in there? Because I do think money did have to change hands, because, we have seen that Game Pass truly does benefit games that go inside of it. Outriders #3 selling game on the Xbox platform outside of all paid games and stuff. So it definitely does help. So
Capcom could have went to them as well, right? Like Capcom could have went to Sony and said, look, Microsoft offered us X amount of dollars to launch day and date in Game Pass. And what are you going to do, right? Are you going to step it up?
I hope this is I think this is. I'm looking it up right now, and some people are saying that it's been debunked. There's no official thing going on. If this is true, that's honestly sad. Like that's stupid because one company's putting money forward
It's
to give
not
their
stupid.
people
That's
something.
not stupid.
No,
hang
I'm not
on.
saying- hey,
Before
hold
we,
on, let me
no
finish,
debate
let me
needed there. You know.
No, I'm not debating. I'm just saying I
Oh,
think
there's always
I think it's a
gonna be
very distinct difference between one publisher or one platform putting money forward to just give their fans something but not take anything away from other fans. And
Yeah,
Sony is putting money forward to not give their fans anything but also take away from somebody else.
But
So
like
that
you
to
said,
me,
we
I
don't
get
know if
I
it's
get
true.
the business. We don't know if it's true. I get that if it's a business thing, but to me, it's another black eye because a lot of media types and everybody like big websites have been talking about how annoyed they are with Sony, that they're not providing the same value and they're not providing the same type of like openness with their platform that Xbox is. And it's, again, here's another thing like, hey, we're going to close it off, but still our people need to pay 60, 70 bucks, whatever the hell.
yeah.
Well, let me
Well,
read this. Let me read this real quick, and I'll go to
But-
Fonz, and I want Colt's take, and I want the chat to let us know what you think about this as well. But this is what the apparent leaker is saying about receiving. So he says, I received a PDF file from a source close to Capcom or a source at Capcom. I have all of the pages of this trade agreement, basically, but is not authorized to reveal anything other than this. So again, like I said from the beginning, it could be fake, it could be real, I don't know, but I thought it would be interesting seeing as we just saw a situation where a game hit Game Pass and that was kind of interesting. This could be a thing that you got to really look at going forward, seeing as services are going to get bigger and bigger. Pay to keep your game out of PS Now or Game Pass for a certain amount of time. It's definitely going to be a thing. It already happens with digital movies and shows. So, Fonz, what's your take on this?
Okay, so I believe that if this is true, it's in direct response from the MLB thing. You know, it's something that they had to tie up and close up and make sure, hey, this doesn't happen again. And I wouldn't put it past Sony to do this sort of thing. And might I add, maybe this is their answer to Game Pass. You feel me? Because I don't think they're going to do a direct, they're not going to really compete with Game Pass with PS Now and give, everybody's saying it, even Sony themselves say it, they're not going to put their games day and date on Game Pass, on PS Now. So why wouldn't this be something that they can counter Game Pass with? Just make deals with companies and say, hey, we're going to put this in the clause. You cannot put that on Game Pass.
Yeah.
That game.
I mean, that makes sense.
It's just going to cost them more money to do
well,
it.
yeah,
That's all.
It sucks. Let me say, it sucks for us gamers that enjoy Game Pass. But at the end of the day, as a business move, very tactical and smart on Sony's part.
Cold
very
Eastwood.
tactical until people attack them, right? Until people say, "Hey, what the hell are you doing? Why are you being anti-consumer?" Because
I don't
that
think
goes a long
nobody's gonna
way
do
now,
that.
man. Like Xbox again, anti-consumer during 2013, people ate them alive, and now Sony's going that same route of being anti-consumer. Instead of giving stuff,
But here's
they're
the thing.
taking
Here's
stuff
the
away.
thing.
I understand that it's tactful and smart and all that. I get it.
But
I just don't
but-
give a flying, but
yeah.
whatever
Let me
the
say
hell.
one more thing on it though. What I think at the end of the day though, it's a situation where it's going to be money, who's got the biggest pockets, and
Exactly.
Sony loses that all day long.
All day long.
So again, if it's been debunked or not, it really doesn't matter. I brought it up because I thought it was interesting. I just explained this because it's something you'll probably see going forward, like in the future. Cold Eastwood, are you there?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what else I can add to that other than.
How do you
agree.
feel about that?
I don't know if it was reactionary to MLB. It probably, if this thing is true, which we don't know, maybe it came out. This thing was written there a long time ago. Game Pass has been around for over 2 years, so they could have written this 2 years ago or a year ago. And this is something you'll never hear about. You'll never hear that a game didn't come to Game Pass because there was a clause. Like, this is something written in a booklet of legal agreements that someone happened to leak. If it's true, it's not something that we would normally see. So you could just expect a deal that keeps something off of Game Pass. I think it was Fonz that said this is something that you'll probably see a lot more of because the industry, the whole entire entertainment industry is pushing towards subscription services. PlayStation's just the last one to hit the train.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Yeah.
The subscription service, like I know Fonz, you said that Sony said they're not going to go into it, and they might not, but Jim Ryan has said a lot of shit that he went back on, and we're going to be talking about one of those topics later today.
True.
But the other thing is that I think they are going to try to emulate it, and I've said in my videos, I've said everywhere that Sony does have the first party output and like really high quality developers to compete. Like I would subscribe, like that's the point. But I think that if this did come up, there's two things that we have to realize. Outriders was a bigger deal than we think,
Right.
and so was MLB The
Mhm.
Show. Those two,
Yes.
and then every other game. But the other thing is if it is Resident Evil, then we got to realize that Xbox is going for every single game, because that's another just big
Probably.
AAA game coming out. They're probably looking down every single month and going, all right, well, where's this coming from? And the rumors
agree.
of Everwild and Fable being years away, all that other stuff, that might be true because Xbox is really combating these gaps with third party, and then the Bethesda deal, right? They bought Bethesda, their first party now. So
That's
there
the
might
thing,
be a lot of
Zucker.
deals coming up.
You're onto something there, because I do believe that you've got these companies talking, and I bet you Sony knows that Microsoft has approached many of these companies and talked about putting their games in Game Pass, and this is just one way they want to try to stop it. But again, money versus money. Who's got the deepest pockets? I'm rolling with Microsoft in that situation all day long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's what I think. And the other thing is that we gotta you gotta give props where it's due. Like, Xbox is putting a lot of money forward, and don't get me wrong, they're making a lot of money now. Like those $1 a year deals that happened back in 2018, those are kind of over. Like, it's starting now where people are actually paying $15 a month, and Xbox is getting those benefits. And if they weren't, I don't think these deals would happen with Outriders and everything. I think they're seeing the profits come in, so they're starting to grab even bigger third-party deals, paying for a shit ton of money towards them. And the other thing is, Sony might be doing this, but again, Xbox has been making this since 2017. Game Pass has been here since 2017, so they've had 3 to 4 years of cultivating this and getting their servers right, getting everything right for Game Pass to make it smoothly. Sony's not there. Like, sure, they can pay a ton of money to Xbox and Xur and maybe get that going, but it's gonna take time.
What the hell? We got some echo.
Man,
We got two Zockers in here.
Hell yeah.
broadcast coming through.
Hey, let me give a shout out to Psychonauts real quick. $5 super chat. He says Sony is trying to kill Xbox's momentum. He's basically saying all the news, and it's not a good look for Sony. And if this is true, now there's an image out there of the contract, right? Nano has shown me all this stuff, and it is kind of a weird thing to sit there and try to fake randomly, especially given that it's a third party game. It's just a weird thing to fake like this. So I don't know. Again, chat, I'd like to know your thoughts on this. I do think it's a possibility it could happen in the future. And I feel like if it hasn't already happened, it definitely will. Again, I guess we get. I mean, I want to open with this topic because I knew it would get people going, but there's also some more stuff going on here. Bonds, you've got a specific topic here going down towards the front of the show, because I know that you talked about some of this in your most recent video, or one of your most recent videos. So coming off of that, there are a few other Sony related things, and some of the stuff isn't the best. We'll let people file in. We'll kind of talk about this, but Sony were selling dev kits for, was it PlayStation Vita and PS3,
Yep.
or were they still selling PS3 dev kits?
So they were still selling dev kits for the Vita, I know for sure, up until March, up until they made this announcement, pretty much. And that is crazy. You had so many developers out there that were creating games for the Vita, and then they were
smaller developers too.
They just suddenly said, hey, we're going to be shutting down the Vita and PlayStation 3 stores. And you had these developers going, wait, what? Like, we just bought kits. We were really deep into these games that we were making. And here you go, saying you're going to close everything down. And it was just one of those things where, as a gamer, you look at that and you're like, wow, that's pretty crappy of, Sony to do. But they reversed it, so that was a good thing.
So hang on. So basically, you're telling me that they sold you a key, like, here's a key to this house over here, and you buy it from them for a bunch of money, and then right when you take it from them, they're like, that doesn't work on this house no more. This house is getting burned down tomorrow. Sorry.
Yep. We bought the land. We're going to take it over. Pretty much, that's what they were doing.
Wow.
And it's a really crappy tactic. And one thing is, like, I made a video on this and I gave him credit for doing the reversal.
Okay? So they did reverse it, just to be clear. After backlash, finally, from some of the Sony guys out there.
Jim Ryan actually made a statement and said that, they looked back on it and they admitted that they were wrong for doing this. So for some time, for who knows how much longer it's going to be around, but for the foreseeable future, it's been said that these stores will still be around. So we don't know how long it's going to be around, but for now, hey, devs, if you're making games, just be wary. Anything can happen between now and the foreseeable future, whenever, that is. So, I mean, look, I gave him credit for that, but at the same time, some people were coming to me and saying, well, it was a shitty move to begin with. Why would you, even give him credit for this? Look, as a consumer, all these businesses kind of try, do things that are shady sometimes, try to do things that are shady. But if they listen to us when we speak out, you have to give them some credit.
It's the same reason we gave Microsoft credit for reversing their Xbox Live doubling. We all hated that decision. We thought there was no issues for doubling Xbox Live costs. And then they reversed it. We gave them credit because they listened to the feedback.
Yeah, that just means that the gamer does hold a lot of power. And that's what you guys got to understand. When you don't like something, speak up. I've spoken up on things for years. I mean, I remember going back 3 years ago, I spoke up against the free-to-play paywall on Microsoft, and I got Xbox guys mad at me, yelling me down.
Talking about Twitter?
Yeah. And it's like, dude, you need to speak up on this kind of stuff. Like, we are not just freaking gamers, but we're consumers. We buy these products. We have to pay for these products, and I don't want to pay for a game that's free to play it online. Like, that's insane.
Yeah,
especially when your competition doesn't.
Where's Steve Batch, by the way?
I praised him for it. So you got to praise these companies.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Steve Batch will be back, chat.
They definitely deserve to be praised for doing. I mean, because we praised Microsoft for making the change. The biggest thing to me that really stands out from the situation is the fact that they came out and said that this was, they made a mistake. Okay, yeah, you definitely made a mistake, but the mistake that they made isn't the fact that they're trying to go back on the whole PS3 and Vita thing. That's not it. They looked at it was like, if people are mad about PS3 and Vita, and we don't even have PS5s on shelves for people to buy, that's going to translate. These people are going to start thinking, like, if this can happen to PS3 and Vita, it's going to probably happen to PS4. It can happen to PS5. And that's a narrative that they don't want to start. They don't want people to start thinking like, yo, PlayStation 5 in 5 or 6 or 10 years, the games that I bought digitally on that platform could literally disappear and I not have access to them no more. And I think that's the main reason they made that change. Sure, the developers that were making Vita games and stuff, that definitely does help them. But what about the developers that stopped development on those games? Because there was a lot of people that were making games that just completely stopped as soon as Sony made that announcement that they were doing that. So I do think it was a twofold thing. They're helping the developers, realize the games they wanted to bring out on Vita, but let's be for real. They're saving their butt when it comes to PS4 and PS5 because they don't want to start a narrative that your games that you buy digitally on our platform won't go forward with you, where that is pretty much the only conversation Microsoft's been having about the last calendar year.
I feel like no one's looking at what happened. No one's looking at like why they originally ditched the Vita and the PS3 store. And the main reason why they did that is because they completely gave up on the PS3. Mm-hmm. They completely gave up, and they knew they would never be able to get back and pat. They knew that they would never invest the time and the money because Xbox spent a bunch of money and hundreds of thousands of labor hours in getting that engineered and tested. And PlayStation knew they would never support PS3 in any capacity on the PS4 or the PS5. So they decided, we're going to go ahead and shut this down, close those servers, save that money, use it somewhere else. And most people could say, yeah, I mean, fine, we're done. We've already played those games. But one thing that I was told by an industry person the other day when this happened, they said that Xbox has the money to invest in game preservation and game back and pat and that goodwill for their fans. So they put that in, and it helps put a good foot forward that people know they can rely that when they invest into the Xbox ecosystem as a consumer, that they're getting the things they pay for and they're getting them as many places as possible. And Sony doesn't have the extra money to dump that in just to look good. So they thought, we'll just throw this in a blog post that we're closing down the store, and hopefully people just go, oh, crap, and just move on. But they haven't. And this brings up another point. This brings up the other day, there's an account on Twitter that's called Something Game Preservation, and they had reported that the CMS battery will keep you from playing your PS5 games. If that battery dies, you have to go in and replace it yourself. Now, we've talked about that before, and I made a tweet saying... I don't think we did talk about that. Okay, so we might talk about it, but I want to talk about this. So, this is one of those things that's not super likely. In 10 years from now, will you still have your PS5? I mean, people still will. Maybe you'll buy another one. I don't know. But this is a bad design decision. Put a little watch battery on your board that is like the cutoff of playing any digital or physical games. It's
So what do
something
you mean?
to
When
fix.
this battery
So-
goes dead or fails, then
or
the
fails,
system won't
it
work
will
at
not
all.
authenticate your games and let you play no matter what until you pop open the PS5 or your PS4, buy a new battery and pop it in. And
So they
maybe
know
that
it's an
only takes
issue
you an
because
hour.
PS4s have had this failure and you're not able to play the games you bought when this happened.
Yeah, so this came out like a week ago, and then the other day, this preservation account on Twitter, who's trying to rally around preserving the games we buy, said, we just found out that the PS5 has this exact same design. So I put out a tweet. I said, it's unfortunate that the PS5 is a ticking time bomb over a battery. Hopefully they can do something about this. That preservation site turned around and said, Xbox is doing the same thing. If you don't set up your console online, you can't play your games. And Jez Corden jumped on them and said, it's not the same thing. If you set up your console 10 years ago, you're not going to be cut away from your games. And I also said, so if Xbox Live goes away in the next 10 years or Xbox Network completely disappears and shuts down and never ceases to exist, we can't play our games. And Jez Corden said, it's not the same thing they're trying to go after me for, because Xbox Live's not going away in 10 years. Jez Corden said it's not going away in 10, 30, or 40 years. Xbox Live will persist for as long as Microsoft is in this capacity to provide some type of entertainment. So it was pretty funny. I think there was some people who thought they had me at a gotcha moment, but this battery thing, you got to pop open your console. But with Microsoft, we've been asking them, hey, do we have to do a day one setup online? Is this something that has to be done? And I know that Microsoft feels like they're constantly pushing updates. Like we get monthly updates on Xbox Live on our dashboard, but they're constantly have little updates that are always going on for security and everything. So Microsoft always wants their hardware to be running at full tilt with all of the things that they're pushing forward for security and functionality. And if someone decides they're going to buy a console and never plug it into the internet, it's like, you kind of
you can't.
Not really what
You can't even.
Hey,
buy
by
a
the way,
console to do that,
I just want to tell people that are asking this again. Spike Knight champion on 360 back and pat. I'm not Tyson. I'm Larry Holmes on the left. All right. And
this is such a mismatch, bro. I don't even know why you even picked this fight.
Well, I just know that one power punch to Holmes' face. Okay, he's out like a light. So Tyson's got a ton of power. Holmes is quick. He can dodge stuff. Whatever. They can both do it. Whatever. Point is, I'm not Tyson. Secondly, Colt, good explanation. And I don't think a lot of people knew about that, right? We hadn't talked about it on this show, at least, or on this channel. And it's interesting they would have the same design flaw. And it's interesting that the account would think that Microsoft is doing the exact same thing. I wonder why they even said that to begin with.
Well, they're wrong. They're wrong. It's not the exact same thing at all. It's sort of in the same, you're blocked away from your games, but it's kind of crazy in this day and age to think you're going to buy a cutting edge console or PC or whatever and think that you're never going to have it connect to the internet at some point. Like even if you had to take it to your grandma's house and plug it into a router, you could just take 10 minutes and get it updated and take it back home. It's really crazy, but to ask Microsoft to get rid of that initial update, I'm sure if you sat down like one of the leaders of Xbox Live said, look, can you remove this? And they would say, yeah, we really don't want to. And it's in your best interest to have access to updates for stability and everything. But I mean, if you want to be, if you want to go take this thing camping the rest of your life, have at you.
Yeah.
Well, the point. Let me jump in this because this is something actually Luca, good friend, messaged me because I was on her podcast 2 years ago explaining this because this isn't just digital; it also reflects with discs
on PS5,
on PS4 or whatever, or PS3. So once that thing goes out, even your discs don't work on it. And I've said that because this is something I've programmed, and I said it on her freaking podcast that it's not going to work because it needs to ping. The licensing is on the disc. So that's why you're kind of like, it's like you're getting the ping and then they're like, all right, you own the game, and boom. But that's not how it's going to work if that battery goes out. Right?
It's on the PS5 as well, Zucker.
Exactly. So if it's on the PS5, it's the same thing. And this is something that everybody made fun of me about. And I was like, all right, whatever, don't care. And then now this comes out and Luca literally messages me and she's like, you better, she's like, I remember 2 years ago. I was like, exactly. So that's why I put out a tweet, and people were like, "Why are you being toxic?" I'm like, "Not. I'm just telling you what I said 2 years ago." And I was like, "Listen, guys, I programmed this." They're like, "You didn't do anything." I'm like, "Okay, like have fun." And that's what it is now. Even your physical discs, you don't really own them.
So yeah,
Get
random
used
guy
to it.
Soccer was arguing with 2 years ago. No, shout
Random
out to
guys,
Lucas. Shout out to Lucas. You got a great show. And 2 years ago, Zucker he had a tiny sword fighting him live on air, and it was entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's a massive deal. Maybe I just don't care right now. Maybe I will tomorrow, but right now I just don't really care. Because there are no widespread examples of this stuff happening right now or anything.
Yeah, let me say 5 words. Like, I don't think it's such an outlying problem that hardly anybody will run into. Not being able to connect their Xbox to the internet, or your CMOS battery going out on your PS3 or PS4 or PS5. It's so unlikely. It's not that big of a deal, but it's just kind of, my tweet is like, it's unfortunate that this is an engineering and design decision to put a watch battery, a $3 watch battery, like the connection to everything that you own, and like, oh, you can pop it open and replace it. I'm like, yeah, we've been through this, but don't make fun of batteries when Xbox guys have them in their controllers.
I guess. Again, I mean, that was I guess it's something that could bite you in the ass in 7 years, 5 years, 10 years. Maybe if your PS5 has an issue with that. But until then, I guess we'll have to see. Colt, by the way, there's a super chat. Somebody wants you to read it. And JR Poll, by the way, he says, going forward, if Sony adds an anti-Game Pass clause to titles, it would definitely make future marketing deals much more complicated, much more, I guess they'll require more navigation. Devs are loving Game Pass. They find it very alluring. That's very true. And then Jacob says, make at Cody.
Super chat.
He said,
I see one about...
See, chat, this is what it is. See? They do disappear. I'm telling you. Hey,
yeah, I mean, I see one from Star Killer, I think. Hold on.
Jacob says, make that Colt Eastwood read this. Stop it, Fonz. Make Colt Eastwood read this with enthusiasm.
Okay, what is it? I wish I could see it.
Snoop da whoop. I'm firing my laser. I'm firing my laser.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. He just said, just laughed. Yeah, I don't. I don't know. I'm sorry, Colt Eastwood can't find it.
Say it in your most happiest voice ever.
Snoop da whoop. I don't know.
Snoop da whoop.
I'm firing my razor.
Snoop da doo wop.
He said, hope you get the old reference. Love y'all. Thank you so much, sir. Johnny No Life, Destiny 2 News. Check him out. He says, best Xbox podcast ever. Hit that like button. Thank you so much. Yeah. Shout out to everybody watching live. If you are watching live, 1,700 almost. Hit that like button. Share it out. We do appreciate you. Thank you so much for what you do. And let me get Psychonauts and Starkiller, who just says, preach Gaming Forte. Thank you, Psychonauts. And then Lord Starkiller does say, what does Jimmy Ryan have to say? Need to get him on RDX podcast. Fonz is working on that. And I don't know. Every time Fonz is around him, he don't reply to our texts.
Jimmy Ryan.
He really doesn't, man. I don't know what's up with him.
I'm talking about you. You don't reply to us when you guys are hanging out. You and Jim.
I'm just trying to have that exclusive with him, but he doesn't want to come on the show. I don't know.
Does he have
why.
an anti-Fonz clause in his contract?
Yeah, anti-Fonz clause, anti-pass, all of that.
And then RDX
anti-interacting with fans. Ooh, what?
RDX Son of Fett says, is Sony's attitude to ruin critically why Sony didn't finish funding. Hang on, I'm trying to. So they didn't finish funding Psychonauts 2. Did Sony fund Psychonauts 2? Maybe I forgot that, but knew that, but forgot it.
No, they didn't fund that. No, that's just a multiplat. It was Double Fine made it before they were acquired, so it's just a multiplat.
Yep.
Yeah,
okay, well, the super chat's kind of worded oddly, but Sony's attitude is to non-critically is why Sony didn't finish funding Psychonauts 2, ? I do not know, sir, but thank you so much.
If they helped fund Psychonauts 2, I didn't know that. Maybe they did.
I'm not sure. Chat, maybe you know. Let's go ahead and move forward, though. Very interesting topic there. Sony did backtrack on the Vita and stuff, so developers aren't screwed out of that stuff. I don't know why you would be buying dev kits. Maybe the number was just really, really low, but it's the principle of the matter. And he said, Jim Ryan did say, hey, we clearly made the wrong decision. If it was so clear, I don't know how you made it. It's kind of like the Xbox Live thing. Not sure how the hell that became a decision. And then on top of that, though, there is some good news, and we'll kind of end the Sony stuff here. Fonz, you talked about this PlayStation 5 sales, and people are instead of talking about how Sony reversed a decision and did a great thing, or that it was bad in the first place, they're talking about freaking sales again, right?
Console sales are all the rage, apparently. Well, it's always been a thing since last generation with the PS4, and great, Sony sells a lot of consoles. We knew that going into this generation. They had the mind share. They had allocated so many systems, most of their consoles, into the US because they wanted to get that top spot here. It just made sense. We all knew that they would get that top spot.
Isn't that funny, though? Even though we told them months before PS5's release that we heard that Sony are putting far more units in the US, and Microsoft was spreading their...
And it's like this. Both companies are selling out of their consoles. Both companies don't have a single console out there for people to buy. And here we are gloating and running around saying, yes, Sony did it. Look at this. We've got this. And I understand they're championing these console sales because of all the bad press Sony has been getting lately. So they figure, hey, this is a sigh of relief. Oh my gosh, we've got these console sales. Sony's all good now. But it's like, wait a minute. That still doesn't negate anything bad that they're doing. Just like you don't forget that Xbox is doing bad, when they did bad. And now that they're doing good, you don't even acknowledge the good. But we're supposed to just forget about everything Sony's doing? No, because they sold consoles.
Well, how much did they sell?
I don't know exactly.
17?
I didn't look at the numbers.
It's so funny because Fonz nails it. They say Sony sold more. I'm like, but I mean, obviously the answer is Sony made more. Sony made more PS5s. That's all there is to it. Xbox is all pretty much sold out, right? I keep hearing people say that they can get the Series S, but they can't get the Series X.
Yeah,
of course they made more. They started making it in 2019 when there was no RDNA 19. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But no, it's just funny how I personally, I don't care about console sales in that regard. Like, yes, of course you want your console to sell so it's successful and they continue on, but that's not what I was even getting about in my own video. And people were like, well, of course you do, because you want to keep third-party support. This is exciting. Like, were you really worried about third-party support? No, you're an idiot. You were out there just championing this stuff because you're a fanboy, and it was a fanboy talking point.
Shit.
This had nothing to do with being worried about third-party support. This had nothing to do with being worried about anything, Sony losing anything. Investments or whatnot, or putting it back into gaming. And it's like, at the end of the day, all of these consoles that are being sold right now are being sold at a loss anyway. So, I mean, it's not like they're making so much money off these consoles that they're pouring buttload of money back into their, investments. No.
Oh, that's not true. Like Fonz, they're pouring money back into the anti-Game Pass clause. Come on.
Oh yeah, that's right. But
y'all got Fonz going on a rant. Shit.
I don't understand why anybody really pushes that whole, oh my gosh, look at these sales. And somebody even yesterday tried to equate the same thing into Game Pass, saying, well, I don't want to hear anybody championing Game Pass. I'm like, you do realize this is a completely different thing.
Does that have to do with this?
I said, Game Pass, the reason why people champion the sales for Game Pass is because it's something that isn't a guarantee. This is a totally brand new service for the industry. This is something that could be, I mean, they could do something and kill Game Pass, and people won't like Game Pass anymore. It would take a lot more to kill the PS5 sales than it would Game Pass, is what I'm saying. And that's the thing about this. It's like, you can't equate the two.
Yeah.
You just can't.
That's odd. And two, like, I don't know. I wasn't talking about MPDs when Xbox was winning them in 2016, right? Like, dominated those several months in the series. The One S came out. We were even saying then it didn't matter. Like, I made a video about it. Who cares? Because again, active users, right? Even Sony's own CEOs saying the same thing.
Yoshida said the same thing. He said that console sales are not the measurement to use. It's the engagement and active users.
Mm-hmm.
Yoshida said that years ago.
Yeah.
And he told their own fan base that, and nobody wants to hear that. They just want to see, oh, they sold more than Xbox. Yay, we win. It's like, no, you don't. You lose because you look like an idiot running around saying, yay for that company to make money.
God,
I feel like you're talking to someone.
Fonz, who you talking to right now, man?
You know who he's talking
I'm
to.
just
Speaking from the
He said you know who he's
Show
talking
us-
to.
Show us on
I
the
don't
doll.
care.
Show
I
us on
don't
the doll
care.
that could hurt you.
Look, I don't care if it's an Xbox fan gloating about this stuff.
Are you looking
You're
at
an
him on?
idiot
Are you
if you're
looking at him on your monitor right now?
If you're gloating about console sales, regardless of the console, that's just weird to me.
I feel
It's
you on
really
that.
weird.
Yeah, it's pretty
Hey,
odd.
can I just be real? Like I Fonz, what you're saying is like 100% correct. You guys need to not be worried about the console sales. You need to be worried about like how many millions of copies your first party games are going to sell. Because even after 5 million or 6 million copies sold of Days Gone, they're cool, and that team almost got broken up. So you guys better figure it out. And then when the Days Gone writer or whoever that
Hey,
was,
I paid full
yelling,
price for that game.
I paid full price for that game, and it still hurts me because it was such a trash game. But that's not the point.
Jeez.
The point.
I didn't pay for
I'm
the
just-
game, and I'm happy.
Listen.
I like that
I'm just
game.
saying, like
liked it.
even after
I
that
liked
much profit, they almost got broken up and got thrown to like Naughty Dog, and then they had a fight to make their next game. So that's not a
Bugs
good look.
next too?
So console sales don't mean anything.
Yeah,
Console
that
sales don't mean
sucks.
anything.
That
It's the software sales, and it sucks that happens, and it sucks that Sony is setting that mandate.
it
Don't be
sucks that you got to
championing
sell that many
console sales.
copies, and you still ain't good
It,
enough.
it does. Dude, that's freaking that's scary. Like, you remember like back in the day when like 2 or 3 million copies was like considered really good, and you're like, good job, and then now it's like 5-6 million. You stupid.
And we get it. Like,
Yeah,
development costs have gone up, but so has the audience. Gaming has never been bigger. So
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say somebody in the chat said it sounds like it's personal from Fonz. No, I get really passionate about stuff like this because it makes no sense.
He hurt.
And to me, like, there's so much more to champion as gamers. And when people champion things that really only the company should be championing at this point, it doesn't make sense to me. Like Zocker said, champion the game sales. Like, champion the freaking, the fact that they reverse things that were going to go south. Champion when they do good things for us, the consumer. Who cares if they sold consoles? It really doesn't benefit you at all that Sony is the PS5 is the fastest selling console in U.S. history. That makes that does nothing for me.
And it really don't
Nothing.
benefit you if the series consoles are the most played in Italy, right? That was something that came out.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely
The hell?
much more indicative of something success, I would say, engagement, right? Active users, as they've said themselves, but it's not something that you would sit there and talk about forever. Psychonauts, by the way, does say Psychonauts is only available on the PS4, not PS5. So that's pretty interesting. Then we've got.
Can I say something weird that occurred to me while we were talking about, like, don't say this or champion this? It's kind of weird for most people to like talk about sales and engagement and like, if you're just a gaming fan, like, why are people like saying this sucked, this didn't suck, this sold this much, this didn't sell that much? Like, we have, like, there's a couple people in our community that like built up a I won't even mention a name, but there's somebody in the community that built up reporting on the numbers and analyzing and has built up a following. And this person provides like really early information as soon as it's collaborated. Here's what this sold, here's what this, and that's what that person does. But when you have your run of the mill like gaming fan of a certain platform going, here's the sales, here's that, it's like, and I know I do it too, but why? Like, it's so funny how obsessed we get. But I mean, I run a channel, like a lot of us here run channels where we're providing information. There's a lot of people listening, but when you have somebody who just wants to have bragging rights, because I see a lot of that, if you're not like a reporter or a quasi wannabe journalist like I am, that you're just looking for bragging rights. And I'll say it how it is, because that's basically what I am. I'm a wannabe video game reporter. I'm like a second-rate IGN wannabe.
I didn't expect such facts tonight.
I see that. I see your point. I see your point.
Damn poser.
I mean, if you just take a step back, I mean, we're all in a podcast, all of us, Forte.
I mean,
podcast,
I'm here
has a
because
channel.
it's a hobby, and it turned into something that
Yeah.
people enjoyed.
Yeah, and people enjoy
Right.
it, and they come to us for a little bit of information that maybe they didn't want to filter through an article or whatever. But if you take a step back, you'll see a large majority of people just looking for bragging rights to hold on to.
You know
That's
what
I'm
it is?
getting at.
If when consoles matter to me, it's when you are these companies are in dire straits. Say, like, Sega was in bad shape back in the day. So yeah, if they were selling consoles like hotcakes, that'd be something to champion as a Sega fan and as a gamer. but PS5 is in no bad shape at all. Like coming into this generation, there was nothing saying, oh my God, they might lose third-party support and stuff like this. These answers that some of these people were giving me on why they care. I'm like, dude, you were not caring about any losing third-party support for the PlayStation. Like that wasn't even a thing in your mind. You're just bragging about this.
And like,
it's dumb.
And like I said, and Fawn said, champion like game sales, because that means you're going to get another one. That's the big thing, right?
Yeah.
We want to fund them. Like if everybody and their mama bought a PlayStation 5 and then didn't spend any money on the store, Sony would stop making PlayStation 5. Like they would be like, all right, we're not making money.
Console's the vessel to the software that makes the money.
Yeah. So it's all about the software. It's all about that. And right now, that's what we want. We want like a lot of sales. Like, you know, there was a report that Miles Morales sold like 70% less than, you know, Spider-Man, the regular one. Like, you know,
But it still did
sucks.
like amazing numbers though, didn't it?
Well, it did good numbers, but not
Well,
like 70% low. Like, I don't know if it did amazing numbers, but again, that scares me because I really enjoyed that game. And that's, you know, that's what we want is good games just getting sold. And, you know, and on, you know, Xbox's side, you know, games sell from Game Pass. We've seen that from Outriders, but also I want to see, you know, when a game comes out and it's something I really enjoy from first party, hopefully the subscription does go up. Or they see people playing it a lot from the subscription service, so they go, "All right, this is a good game that people come to Game Pass for."
Yeah,
like I don't like. I just
ball
want
of money.
more
It's like a
games.
buffer of money that allows us to maybe be a little bit more flexible, take more risks, right? Because they got all this stuff coming in. So I've not seen a negative from having something like Game Pass out there myself personally. So
And even you know the guy Obsidian that was talking on the Iron Lords, that dude even said it. He goes, people like thought, "Oh, you're gonna be part of the Overlords." He goes, the best thing that Xbox did for us is they didn't do anything. He goes, they just funded us and we're stable, and they left us to do whatever the hell we want.
the problem is, though,
Oh,
Zucker, is that people don't believe. They don't believe. Actual developers are sitting there telling you, like, this is awesome. We made a ton of money. It's a big cushion for us, and we had no pressure on us at all, and people just won't believe them.
The best part is he said we have even more money to play with now. You know?
Yeah,
that's what he said. So
he's like, we're stable. He's like, we were keeping the lights on. He's like, we don't have to worry about keeping the lights on, and all their stress goes away from that, and all the stress now goes to making the best game possible. And that's exactly what like Xbox has done, and that's exactly what Phil has done, and all those guys there. They don't want somebody to go over there and insert like, you know, this Microsoft guy to change things. That's not how it works when you're working with technology and people that are talented. You just let them do what they got to do, and they'll do it. That's the point.
Who was that Dev that said that, Zonker?
The Obsidian guy, I forgot his name. The Obsidian
yeah.
Entertainment guy that was on Iron Lord's podcast.
It was Megan and what was the other guy's name? I forgot. But anyway, it was a great interview.
It was a great interview.
Yeah, those guys are awesome, dude.
Peter, I wanted to ask you, how many times is it going to take a developer to come out under Microsoft saying this kind of stuff for people to understand that this stuff is true?
I'm thinking I should start just taking more guests on that want to, like, because there's several developers that have contacted me, and I mean we could bring some of these guys on, and I just I feel like we'd have 20 of them on, and it won't matter, Fonz. It won't believe anyone.
I just want to add to that real quick. Like, if the developer, this is their earnings, this is their living. If they say they are content and they're making good money, you better believe your bottom dollar that they are. Developers are very outspoken when they're not happy, and if not, they leak it out to the press and you find out. And we're not hearing any cases of that with Game Pass. And when you see that, like, you know, really good third-party games are coming to Game Pass day and date, then you know that there's something definitely there, because they're not going to put it on that service unless they're compensated for it. So gamers need to have a little bit more respect for the developers. Yes, I know there's some like rogue developers out there that at times spew bullshit, but for the most part, these developers, they're the ones making the games. And if you want the information on the game and the process, I don't know who better than the source. And if the source tells you something, you don't believe it, then I don't know, you're just lost.
But they're paid shields.
I like that. Phil's talked about like Game Pass and paying people. Like he said, it's all fluid. Like they don't have a way of paying developers. Like sometimes they cover the entire cost of the development. And if you notice, like Outriders is only on Xbox, right? For Game Pass. Yeah. So they're like it's not on PC Game Pass. So they probably were like, we'll pay for the development that you spent on the development for Xbox, and boom, Game Pass day and date. Like they're like whatever.
And they get
like,
a ton of sales
exclusive.
and just
yeah, exactly. And they get a ton of sales on top of it. So not only do they get the development paid for, but now everything that gets bought on Xbox is profit. They're just like cool, like, and they're happy, and Xbox is happy because they're making money from Game Pass. It's like a win-win-win. And if you look at, the rumors of everybody talking, like, by the way, Miles Dompierre, when he said that thing on Game On Daily, I got so many DMs.
What are you talking about?
Because when Miles was talking about the 3 games him and Jez kind of know about, and they kind of talked about like being developed from the the publisher, and Jez hinted at it with a cyclone emoji thing. Like they know about 3 games in development through a global publishing outside of the Kojima rumored one. So 4 games. Like I messaged Miles. I was like, buddy. Like, and I was like, I got so many DMs just about you. Like, what the hell happened? And then I saw the interview. But like, if you look at that, like, Xbox is just putting so much money that we don't even know about yet. Like, I like if you think the Game Pass and all that is anything, like, you got to think about all the other stuff they're doing. Like, if you don't think that they're coming this generation to not just win, but like dominate the gaming market from not just Sony, but from Amazon.
But
Tencent,
how if they're not the top
everybody?
seller in consoles? How?
All I know is that I saw a tweet and I liked it when it said Xbox is the market leader, and that was it.
That's dang right, man. They are leading just about everything. Yep.
But
They
I'm
really
just
are.
saying that it's just what's happening. That's
Super
all. They're
facts.
killing it.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, let me give a shout out to almost 1,800 people watching us live, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, tell a buddy or two, tell your grandma, and share it on Reset Air. We do appreciate it. Again, we do really, really thank you for showing up and listening to us talk about stuff. Fight Night Champion, only available on the modern Xbox platforms via back and
Where your game preservation matters.
Yeah, where your game preservation matters, and your frame rates double or quadruple, and you get auto HDR on something as old as Fight Night Champion. This game in person looks awesome. Really good, really good. Mr. Asante, by the way, he says, salute to my brother D-Batch. Yeah, he actually ended up getting the Ryzen build that you recommended to him. And
Nice.
yeah, he says, tell me when to see where to send you a beer. That's what he says.
All right, cool.
Yeah. And also, we've got another one from RDX Son of Fett. He does say Sony started funding Psychonauts 2, but stopped. I guess that's why Double Fine went to Xbox. Could it be lack of quality? Well, that game's still not out, so I really can't say, but that's pretty interesting. Lord Starkiller does say sales are number one metric, not the only metric. Sony continues to live in they're talking about living in the past. So yeah, it's something they used to gauge things by in the past before the age of online sales and engagement. And then we got AKA Havoc Fonz. He says Fonz, the games will do the talking. And we really hope they do. Once the games start coming, then the highly rated ones, Xbox will gain respect.
Yeah, those games that Miles is like alluding to and Jazz, it's really got me curious, man. It's been having my head spin, man. I've been thinking a lot about that.
You don't worry your pretty little head about that, Fonz. You just keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about it, though.
Let me get Z Black Rider as well. He says Microsoft was ahead with tooling factories, but had to wait for AMD. So, yeah. And we will talk about some new stuff coming to Xbox. Actually got confirmed today, and that's really cool. You're substantially more performance for the box and retain the same visual clarity. It's pretty awesome. The General C, he says, if you all could reboot an old abandoned game, Mech Assault. That's fine.
Yep.
Mech Assault.
Legacy of Kain, the series. Love it.
And Mech Assault.
What are we talking about?
We're talking about rebooting old franchise. Thank you so much, though.
Rebooting old franchises?
Yeah.
Legacy of Kain. Got to be.
After the shit show that happened this week or this day with Blizzard, Warcraft. Bye. Rip Blizzard. 15 top people left. Thank you, Activision.
Man,
Go F yourself.
Mike Ybarra, come back to some division of you won't come back to Xbox, but Microsoft maybe.
For me, I'd like to see, it's a PlayStation title, but I'd like to see The Getaway. Oh fuck, I'd love to see that rebooted, man.
Remember Mercenaries? Man, you could blow
Oh
everything
my
up
god, I love that game.
Shout out to Pandemic Studios that fucking got shut down by EA. Man. They just...
Oh, Knights of the Old Republic. Good call.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat.
I want
The Saboteur.
The Saboteur? I don't know. I didn't care for that one.
I love
that.
Saboteur.
Max Payne.
Dark Sea Meth says, hey, yo, RDX, how do you spell Sony? Salt.
Shots.
And then Zeal, I'll come back to the rest. Zeal says Colt works for the Onion, confirmed. Oh man, that's not true. He's a respectable fake games journalist, I hear. Colt, is that true?
He works for IGN then.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm half fake, I guess. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
And the King of Kings, Microsoft will soon enable audio pass-through on the new Xbox.
Yeah, what is that? I don't know what that. I've heard that before, but I'm like, what is that going to do for me?
D-Batch, have you looked into
For
that?
headsets?
Looked into what?
Microsoft enabling audio pass-through for the new Xbox?
No, I didn't really look into it. I gotta admit, my 1 weak point is audio. I don't really follow the audio stuff too tough.
Okay. And then I'll cap it off for now by Dark CMF again. Pony's loving their PlayStation infrastructure. Yeah, they're still loving it. Still loving it. So again, let's go ahead and move forward in topic. Shout out to everyone watching again. Hit the like button if you haven't. Share it out. We do appreciate it. And I'm smacking at my cat because it's attacking me while I'm trying to do something else. Apparently the Discord deal is reportedly dead. And Windows Central did put this out. So that's why I decided to talk about it because, again, those guys are pretty knowledgeable. And Tim Dog was very confident, well, somewhat confident this could happen. I'm not sure. I mean, again, that was a $10 billion deal, Forte. And while Xbox may not benefit directly in all ways through Discord, the idea here, and I think someone in the chat actually introduced this, let me know who it was, that Microsoft could use Discord much easier on mobile devices for xCloud, party chat, stuff like that, would be one way Xbox could benefit, and it's largely a technology deal. But apparently that's dead, Forte. Why'd you lie to us?
Man, look, man, I'm always out here trying to, tell you guys the truth. And every once in a while, your boy Forte might get it wrong.
Why are you lying?
First of all, I didn't lie to you, sir. So be quiet. Second of all, of all, if this is, look, sometimes you got to hurt people's feelings to let them know that you actually care about them. But let's be for real. Yeah. But let's be for real. If this doesn't happen, and $10 billion, it's a lot of money. But I do think for what Discord can do for them in the mobile sphere, it's a drop in the bucket. I also think, being a person that does deal with Microsoft Teams a lot, I do think it will be a good way of bridging a gap and bringing some of the functionality that Discord has and integrating it into Teams to make that a better platform for their e-commerce side. So I always thought that this deal would actually benefit both sides of Microsoft, not just the gaming side of it. And if it doesn't happen, then that is kind of a blow. I mean, this isn't the first time that we heard Microsoft in talks to try to purchase and do something with Discord. This kind of started 2-3 years ago when it came up the first time. And a lot of people said that it may not happen due to the fact that Discord wants to probably go public on their own and, make an IPO and just see what their value and worth is. We've seen that with a couple of different companies over the course of the last month or so. So it would suck if it doesn't happen, but let's be for real. Xbox does have a couple of what's the names with Discord when it comes to Game Pass features and stuff like that, where you get Nitro and stuff added to your subscription. So I wouldn't say that it's completely dead. It just might have fallen apart right now. Microsoft didn't they just purchase Nuance for like $20 billion, which is another communication.
Yeah.
20 billion, which is double what they was gonna give Discord.
And the chat told us that's for the medical field, smart AI.
Yeah, so and that's kind of speaking in the same industry and stuff too. Communication and stuff like that. It's going to be more in the like you said, in the healthcare sector and stuff. But who knows? Who says that can't be something that they integrate throughout all of Microsoft to benefit even on the Xbox side too? So that might be another reason why that deal kind of got pushed back, because Microsoft says, well, we just purchased this, and this could probably benefit us just as much. The only thing that we're paying for on Discord is just the name at this point, because Discord is the biggest chat program when it comes to gamers in general and streamers that use it. So it might just be a Trojan horse. They might be just trying to wait Discord out to see if they can get it at a cheaper price, or see if Discord can get any other suitors willing to pay that price, because I don't see anybody else really wanting to spend $10 billion on it, because I think Microsoft would get the best benefit out of it due to everything they're doing with xCloud, Game Pass, and just consoles in general.
Yeah. Business shenanigans.
It's a bunch of shenanigans, crazy bananas. By the way, Napster 6, shout out to you. It's been a while. He says sound pass-through is basically to so that people with 5.1 and 7.1 systems now have native support to the receiver, and also opens up the possibility, the options for full audio quality through HDMI.
Oh, yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because okay, the sound pass through for like I guess Dolby Atmos, your 5.1, your 7.1.
Yeah,
bypass the content.
Oh yeah, that
what
does
it's
it.
going to do, it's going to take your all your media apps like your Netflix and stuff, and you'll be able to get all that high quality audio.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that information just came out. I've been playing. Yeah. I've been trying to play games when I can, like pretty much all day today. I got most of the topics done pretty early. So
you play games? Wow.
Yeah, okay. Still more than you, even though I don't play any. Anyway, let's go ahead and move forward. I'm kidding. Fonz will crush like giant, like Cyberpunk. He ripped through in like 3 days. I'm like, God, sleep, Fonz. He's got this tiny dog covered in mold.
I both did.
Yeah.
How we living?
Yeah.
How we living, Fonz?
Good.
Okay. Xbox power, right?
Yeah, power.
All right. Did I make that weird enough for him?
That's our chance for the community service message that why wait for the enhancement on Cyberpunk? Just either play it or don't.
Yeah,
I choose not to play.
Just wait for the enhancement. It's going to be great.
It's on my hard drive waiting for enhancements, basically. I haven't booted that game up one time.
When you're waiting for the enhancements, though, you kind of miss that collective experience with the rest of the gamers. It's like
hearing a bunch of people bitch about it.
It's like watching a movie 2 years later, and everybody you want to talk about it with everybody, but everybody's like, "Oh, that's old news."
Come on, D-Bag. What did we miss? We missed a bunch of people crying about assets and
like, what the hell? There's a bunch of studded thingamabobbers everywhere.
But I don't think
there were.
I don't think the ray tracing is not going to make it an exponentially different experience.
Exactly. There's much more to gain from ray tracing than that, though.
Yeah, it's just giving you better lighting, a more realistic lighting, which is cool. It's fine, and it's nice eye candy, but it doesn't change the overall.
I can care less about the eye candy. Does the game work yet?
Anyway, stop dissing Fonzarelli's favorite game of all time.
You tell me when the game works, and that's when I'll boot it up.
Black Ronin.
Not Red Dead 2, sir.
Yeah, Red Dead is. I can't believe how beautiful that game still is, man.
Well, Red Dead is.
Woo,
class gorgeous.
It's one of the few games that can get away with having such bad aim that it's automatic by default.
Well, you got to understand, nobody can do an open world game like Rockstar. Nobody. No. They've got it hands down.
What about Outriders?
No.
I like the 2-foot bridges that have loading screens. Hey, Black Ronin, by the way, he says, anyone listen to the check the GameStack live stream? I had to work, so yeah. Shout out to you, brother. We'll be getting some details there here in a bit, and then I want to go back to D so you can wrap that up in a second. But first, get to I guess Jumper, right? They say final Outriders, fantasy. What the hell? Unlikely game. I hope Papa Phil can make happen. Fantasy unlikely game. Oh, Kojima plus Mikami make Silent Hill. I guess. Look like Resident Evil 7 to me.
Thanks for the comment, but never call him Papa Phil again, please.
Yeah. Somebody clip that. So let's go ahead and. I
like it.
PSI PsyOps. Snake Eyes says PsyOps. Not really sure why, but thank you. Let's go ahead and move forward because again, all this cyberpunk blasphemy. Fonz, you really should do a review one day, so I'll watch it.
Oh, here we go.
I'm surprised he ain't done one yet.
He did actually.
Did?
I kind of did. Yeah. I talked over it real quick. It's like a 2-minute thing.
That's not a review.
Oh yeah, it is.
What the heck is that?
2 minutes.
2 minutes. What?
Hey, man, what do you think I am? ACG here? No, I do reviews in under 5
I
minutes.
expect you to look. I expect the best from you, especially when you sitting up here. Your whole channel was geared around cyberpunk.
Why you gotta get on this man right now, Forte?
You want to watch a good review? I did. Go watch the Ghost.
I watched that one. I watched that one. It was great.
He told me he disliked it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Well, that's because I just wanted to, get a reaction out of you when I said that.
Yeah. You did. I told. Hey, there's some new stuff coming to Xbox thanks to both new system update and development kit update as well. Unlocking new features from AMD and some quick resume stuff as well. So people have always wanted to know, and I can relate to this because my brother's one of them, right? He would think that, this is a lot of people. It's not just him, but a lot of people would say, "Hey, what games are stored in Quick Resume, and do I need to close out of these? Is it slowing down my system? What's happening?" And that's why I say hold down the power button for 7 seconds and everything will be fine. But yeah, there's going to be a new update where it actually lets you check out your quick resume status, what games support it, in the My Games and Apps sections. You can actually control what games are actually in there and view them. So that's cool. Yep. I would like the option to have one always stay in quick resume by default. That's not an option. And never get pushed out no matter how many games I'm using. But anyway, that's beside the point. And AMD Fidelity FX now on Xbox Series X and S. And they put out a big post bragging about this D-batch. You've had to have seen this.
I did not.
Oh, my God.
but
go to AMD's Twitter.
Yeah, I'll go to AMD. Someone else talk about it.
So basically, this is going to be another way to cut a lot of rendering workload in half, or at least into down by quite a bit by using this, and they are unlocking it for Xbox Series S and X. They also put out something where they talked about all RDNA 2 devices. There are a ton of them, and PlayStation 5 was not on there.
Nope.
Again, we've only been saying this since the beginning.
Well,
so,
like we said, I don't know what's gonna the Fidelity FX or the type of implementation on the PlayStation, I would think would be centered around checkerboarding. So maybe they'll talk about that at a later date. I think they're kind of concentrating on the Microsoft.
They'll have some version on there.
Right. So now everyone knows that Microsoft has some hardware acceleration on there for the machine learning. Now, a lot of people are like, oh, it doesn't have anything to assist with the machine learning because everything is done on the CUs and da-da-da-da, you don't know what you're talking about, which is absolute nonsense. The hardware acceleration that is on the Xbox Series X, it's a multiplier. So it multiplies, I think it's like up to 10 times the calculations that
3 to 10 times, yeah.
Yeah, without that hardware implementation in there. So you're going to get a better result. So I would think that AMD would want to concentrate on the console that can do the implementation the best, which would be the Series X. So I'm not saying they're not going to get some type of implementation on the PlayStation 5. It won't be with machine learning. I would assume, and like I said, I'm assuming, we don't know officially, but I would assume that it would be centered around checkerboarding, which is a technique that is used a lot on the PlayStation 5. I want to see this in motion. So it's good to know that the developers have this unlocked. I'd like, in the near future that we would see this demonstrated in some games to get gamers hyped, and I think it's good for the brand as well when they see some of these new techniques that'll be coming to the box. So I'm excited. It's a great thing for consoles. I think what's going to benefit, I think games that struggle to get the 60 frames per second, I think that they're going to benefit from that. I think games that have to dip the resolution in order to achieve 60 frames per second, I think it's going to benefit from that. And of course, ray tracing is going to benefit from this technology the most, because when ray tracing is enabled on the consoles or on anything right now, you do take a deep hit. And with DLSS on the PC side, it gives you a huge uplift on frames per second performance. And I'm not going to say it's going to be at the same level, but I would expect it to also boost the frames per second on the Xbox Series.
And this is Gen 1 Fidelity FX. So this is, this is not even close to where this technology is going to end. I think it's awesome they have this capability, and they're starting somewhere. Again, this will, you're effectively seeing a huge chunk of performance being freed up to be put towards either more effects, higher whatever type of resolution they go for, or frames. And we've already know, as we covered, I think it was last week or the week before that, Colt, Series X has 34 120 FPS games, Series S has 25 or 24, and the PS5 has 11.
Before
double. That's crazy.
Before Colt says something, I just want to add real quick. Let's not forget that we're also going to get variable rate shading on top of that. We also get the mesh shaders. So the Xbox is really stacked with technology, man. Sorry.
D-Batch basically say the tools are coming. They're here.
The tools, Forte. I'm sure you heard people trying to take shots at us for talking about those tools, but turns out they was real, and somebody's building a house right now. Boss, did you add more power drills to that damn soundbite? He added more stuff to it. It's like a jackhammer now. Next week is gonna be like a steamroller.
That's the best.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
You guys, you talk about the tools. It's got to go on, man.
You gotta talk about the tools.
You know what you need, Fonz? You need to get us a tool man Taylor.
We should have a sound effect for all the frauds that was talking shit when we were talking about the tools, and it turns out the developers came out and said the same damn shit 5 months later. Kind of weird.
Gotcha,
bitch. Use that one more. Yeah. Okay.
You told him to.
I did. Actually, it's probably not a great idea. Google don't like you so much. But again, hey, give a like for the tools. We don't want to talk about them. Trust me, it gets old. PS4, PC exclusives coming to Xbox. Fonzarelli and Colt Eastwood. I guess Colt Eastwood, since you haven't said much. PC games coming to Xbox via the xCloud infrastructure, and that's confirmed by Phil Spencer. These are PC only games, by the way.
Yes. Yeah.
So when you have PC exclusives, why would you buy a PC? Right? Does it only have one reason to own it, or are there multiple?
There's lots of reasons. Which games are there coming out that are on PC only?
He did not say specifically. He just confirmed that PC only games would be coming to Xbox via xCloud.
So that cycles back around to that new update you're talking about. That doesn't it's not just about super resolution. It's a tool that allows them to get the game ready for Windows PC and also quicker onto console. I don't know if you guys said that. I don't think you did.
And we might have
but yeah, that was one of the reports in there. Was that something? Let me see if that's something that I wrote down.
Chat, while he's looking for that,
what
games would you like to see from the PC that aren't on console right now, couldn't be even done, come to console through xCloud? Go ahead, Cole.
That's a dangerous question.
AMD Fidelity FX with specific optimization for Windows and Xbox. Game developers can now utilize further platform-specific optimizations with AMD Fidelity FX straight from the Series X game development kit. So they can get a game running up on PC, and it's also getting it ready for the console. Because like we're going to see a game like Age of Empires come to PC, and then it'll come to Xbox Series X like a year later, even though the Series X could run it just fine.
Yeah, so isn't that an incentive to run to automatically take RDNA 2 features into account because you're making a PC version at the same time? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, saves them. They get bang for the buck. Absolutely.
What the hell did it? Jesus, this guy, Soundwave. Chill out, bro. That's a weird comment to leave. Shout out to Mr. Orange, Noof Nukem. We've also got Alfonso. We've got Lethal Papa, the best moderator there is. All Might, Davis, VGS, Deck, and then Derek, Pixel Bit G, and some of you other guys in the chat. Thank you so much. Channel members, shout out to you, and everyone saying hi. Again, this is cool, Colt. Now tell us, what's the weirdest PC game you want to see on Xbox now?
Genital jousting or shower with your dad, probably. No, there's some super weird games on PC.
Told you, chat. Told you it's weird.
I actually would just like to see them bring over Dota 2, World of Warcraft, a couple of like big Blizzard games where they could just throw them on Xbox.
That's what.
Get like 3 million people buying it day one and just make a bunch more money because they're continually supporting those games. I wouldn't play them. Like there aren't a lot of PC only games. There's not very many right now that I'm waiting to get onto Xbox. There's a few.
I want Last of Us to come to Game Pass.
I was going to say the same thing about Blizzard stuff because my biggest one is, as much as I do like the console version of Diablo, the PC version is just stellar, and I want to be able to use this freaking Razer turret that I have on a consistent basis because it's actually really good on the games it does work on, and getting more games that support it that are PC basically centric would be a really good move, like StarCraft and stuff like that. I would really get back into StarCraft if I could play it in an ecosystem where more people play that game that I know.
StarCraft 64, it was a blast.
I know.
I love it.
Shout out to Monkey Punch, by the way, you fraud. Don't make me expose you. He says hi.
Hey, Monkey Punch.
But Feral Power Minister as well. But yeah, I mean, Zalker, PC games you'd like to see come to Xbox through xCloud.
StarCraft, number one, always.
Yep.
That's all right. That's the first game. The first StarCraft I ever played was on N64.
Since Warcraft is
So,
dead
yeah.
now that all the people left,
Don't
would you like to see the last one?
Warcraft Reforged is dead. No, they're not going to bring it. All RTS games are dead, but yeah, I want that. I mean, at least in Blizzard they are. I wouldn't mind that. Total War, I really enjoyed that game. I think one of the biggest ones that people don't talk about is Counter-Strike. I think Counter-Strike would be.
I think that's
really
already
big,
on
PC
Xbox.
only. Yeah, on Xbox. I would love to see that on Xbox.
It's already on there.
It was on original Xbox.
CS:GO's on there?
Yeah.
Yeah, CS:GO was on original Xbox. It was what was it? CS:GO Sutton
360.
Sutton
Sun
Strike
360.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
360.
yeah, I guess the updated version I would like.
Someone said
Oh
H1Z1.
yeah, the updated version would be way better.
League of Legends would be another one.
Yeah, that's another one I was thinking of.
I was thinking about like Oregon Trail.
Gosh,
Oregon Trail.
Old school.
Games
yeah,
like
sorry, I'm aging myself here, but
games like
maybe
Band of
Math
Brothers.
Munchers.
Yeah, Band of Brothers and stuff like that. Stuff that was on the original Xbox.
Company-
that was
Company of
yeah,
Heroes.
Company of Heroes.
Yeah, those
Man.
would be pretty freaking pretty good. A lot of the games have kind of come over, right? Like it's just they're there already. It's they've done a pretty good job of bringing them over from what we want, and that's what I there's not that many games on PC where I'm like, ooh, maybe Valorant. I'm not sure if that's
Police Quest.
A Valorant would be an excellent addition. Valorant.
Yeah, Valorant would be pretty big.
Ultima
Yeah.
Online.
That way you and
Ultima
Phil
Online.
can play together. Remember we were
Yeah,
talking? We were
yeah.
talking, and you
Yeah,
guys
we're
kept talking
talking
about
Phil.
Ultima Online. Me, Phil,
yeah.
Fonz, who else? We were all in a party, and Fonz kept going on about Ultima Online, and Phil's like, "I'm gonna slip out real quick. I'll be right back." No, like
that's
those
because
guys.
he
Those guys
brought
are
up
big fans.
Ultima Online. Yeah, he brought it up, and I was like, "Oh, I used to play that all the time when I had a PC." Yeah, that's how old I am. I used to play all those old games: Police Quest, Ultima Online, freaking Oregon Trail.
Oregon Trail. I don't know why.
Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego?
Where in the world was Carmen Sandiego? Math Munchers.
Math Munchers? What?
Dealer, I'll
Math
tell you about that
Munchers.
one after hours.
Oh, God.
Oh man.
After
Okay.
hours.
Hey, shout out to Sean Labrie, by the way. Sean Labrie in the chat, he did do this new merch. I got to bring it up. A lot of hard work here. So I'll post that link in the chat. And again, check that out if you get a second. It's fantastic. Like somebody was talking to me today, Sean, just so you know, and said this stuff looks really, really good. Like it's really, really good. So they got a lot of it. It's good. I like it. So check it out. That link's in the chat, and I'll pin it here in a minute or two. But again, shout out to everyone watching live.
Oh, Diablo 2 remaster.
Diablo 2 remastered.
Yeah,
That one looks freaking
I like
insane.
the all overprint shirt look good.
Diablo 2, the new remaster, looks way better than the reforged from Warcraft 3. And then even people that are trusted, YouTubers and stuff like that, I've even said like, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a good port, but holy shit, they did a good job on this. So I played a lot of Diablo 2 when I was younger. I love that game, and so I'm going to play the hell out of it when it comes out.
Leisure Suit Larry, that one too. Yeah.
Oh, Leisure Suit Larry.
Well, what about
Gary's mod? Gary's mod is fun as hell, dude. You
Mm-hmm.
can do everything in that game.
I gotta say, when Leisure Suit Larry came out, the original, oh my gosh, was mind blowing.
Okay, I pinned it for you guys.
Oh, man.
Okay, check out the shirts and stuff
Yeah,
pinned.
some cool stuff.
I got to
man.
chill out a little bit.
It's crazy because that it looks you got the original logo, but the things he did with it it looks great, man. It's awesome.
It's awesome. It took a long time for him to do all this stuff and going back and forth and all that stuff. So check it out. By the way, we're just talking about PC games that are coming to Xbox for the first time ever through xCloud, confirmed by Phil. But there's also a lot more going on that I would like Zauker and Colt
Oh,
to talk
last
about.
one real quick from PC. Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh my God! Could that be a workround? You think?
I don't know. It's a PC game now.
I don't know. That's kind of weird. But yeah, there's there's some new games that are being teased by some really, really good sources. Jez and those we spoke just quickly about them. But yeah, there are multiple studios working on Xbox Series exclusive games, and again, that's because things could be going a little faster with first party. But in the meantime, they are investing money for not only things like MLB The Show and Game Pass, which let us know if you've tried that in the chat, but they are also investing money with bigger teams, AAA teams that have made AAA games.
Yep.
And Microsoft are working with these guys to release them on Xbox. And Jez was teasing some of these, and there are a couple others. One of them is apparently an open world connected game that has a lot of potential, and it could even be revealed this year, if I read that correctly. And then
they were.
Go ahead.
Jez was talking about that. He put a Cyclone thing, and everybody thought Ubisoft, and he's like,
Dreamcast.
It's not Ubisoft. And then or Dreamcast, and then he said it's not that. It's a developer, a AAA developer, high quality one that. He doesn't want to say. They don't want to say just yet. They're keeping it close to the vest.
Like the Cyclone represents the title that Microsoft want to publish.
Yeah,
right?
like they're like, or the title or something with the developer. I don't know what it is, but he's just hinting at it, and he said that it's been in the works for a while. And this is something we've talked about. I've talked about on my channel. I've said that Phil's hinted at like second party deals that they don't even talk about yet. Like he's like, we haven't talked about these.
That's not a Cyclone. It's Cycle. Loco Cycle 2.
No.
But anyways,
please don't give them ideas.
It was but they were talking about that and Kojima and then 3 other games, right? So that's 4 games, how I mentioned earlier. And the big open world game, they say it's something completely different than the studio's ever done because they wanted to do it and Xbox funded them to do it. So we'll see how it goes. It's AAA. It's high. That's what they say. And again, it's something that Xbox just flooding money in the market and to bring stuff into Game Pass so we can have something every month to subscribe to. So yeah, I don't know what the game is. They're gonna probably, they've hinted Miles Dampierre and Jez have said that they might bring it out this year, not bring it out or announce it this year. But this also hints at the rumor of, Fable and all the other games being years away, especially Fable apparently, and like Perfect Dark might be right because of the pandemic. So like it might have stopped a lot of production for them. So we'll see. Maybe they're filling that in with third-party deals and big third-party deals that they're funding.
Yeah. And Ligrofire in the Super Chat says, anyone see the shelf in the background of GameStack? It had a Series S, X, and a Switch on it. Phil, or, everyone likes to put things on shelves in the background and see if you notice it 16 months later, right?
Product placement.
Yeah, product placement. The first, Bill showed off the Series S, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months before it was revealed. It was just on a shelf, and nobody knew what it was. It didn't really look like anything like an Xbox, and kind of teased it there. And then Lord Starkiller again, he says, saw WSJ article today that said Discord want to stay independent. So, yeah, that's on the Discord topic, and I'm a little bit back there, so... I don't know, Colt, what were you thinking about some of these titles, or at least some of the potential, and Microsoft spending big money with some of these studios and getting some games out there for its fans? They're funding them, to be clear, right?
Yeah. This, be clear that these are games that these studios have said, we'll make these for you, much like they did during the 360 and most of the Xbox One era. So, yeah, these aren't Xbox Studios games, but they're paying them to make them. I've heard one was not like my thing. I heard the other 2 are pretty cool, and I don't know. It's like
one's
a bonus.
One's
point.
Pretty cool. 2's pretty cool.
Well, I mean, it's a bonus at this point. They've got 23 studios on Xbox's side. They've got like 30 projects in the works, and then they've got 4 county Kojima of these like third-party deals that they're going to work out and deliver. Like one of them's going to come out in like a year or so from now. Or sooner. So like this is just a bunch of games. If Xbox put out like 10 games last generation, they're gonna put out like 40 or so.
So Colt, when you say you heard one was not your thing, what type of game was that?
It's a sequel to Monopoly.
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's just cool stuff. And thanks for your question.
Cool stuff. Yeah, I mean,
like me, somebody told you something, and
no, I just appreciate the question. Yeah, appreciate that.
One of the studios made a game. This ain't like against the rules. I made a game that was kind of recent. That's what you can say, and it's not saying anything. So again, yeah, I don't know how far that game would be out there though, right? So
The Man with the Million.
The Man with the Million. You just play as Randall Thor, waking up every day at 5 p.m. Shout out to Randall Thor. I wish he was here.
If he's awake.
Far fetch.
Oh, damn.
But there are multiple. There's 3 prototype games being tested right now by multiple studios. So they're kind of working on some new cool stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of new cool stuff, Phil Spencer, he was talking to Tim on Twitter. Tim Dog, the guy that's not here today. And Tim said, "How is the overall, basically the general feeling at Xbox right now for this generation? Are you guys happy with Xbox sales and progression for Xbox Game Pass?" Now, there's a reason that this topic is titled "Phil Spencer Talks and Says Stuff," because Phil replied with, "The team feeds off the energy of the community, and which feels great right now." He completely breakdancing around the question. Shout out to Phil, but I'm inclined to believe him, Colt. I think there's positivity in a lot of facets when it comes to Xbox right now.
Yeah, it's
That's
one
my
of
alley-oop
those
to
things. Yeah, it's one of those things. I actually tweeted about it, that it's cool to see the fans excited. Xbox is already like hungry and excited to do things because they finally have the green light to be a gaming platform again.
Right.
And so they're watching the social media and they're watching some of these channels and these podcasts, and they're seeing what people are expecting and what they're predicting, what they're excited about. And it just energizes them, and it gets their social media people talking and sharing things. It's just a perpetual motion of really cool stuff. And Xbox already has all this stuff like in motion, and they're excited to share it. It's just a really good thing. I think it's why we saw somebody like Colin Moriarty say, PlayStation, why aren't you doing this? Like, he already knows they're going to deliver for the generation.
Tell us what
But
you're
he
talking
wants
about
to
with
be
Colin
excited
Moriarty.
like the Xbox guys. He wants to be excited every week or every 3 days like Xbox fans are. They have something new and shiny and exciting to look forward to. And then the Game Pass games drop, and the timed exclusives are coming.
So just so you don't know, if you don't know, Colin Moriarty is like a lifelong Sony guy. He worked for IGN, and I guess on his show, he was like having a hard time thinking about.
Rant.
I mean,
10-minute rant, putting Sony down, saying you're not saying anything, shutting down your servers, shutting down the things, or the store was bad. It's a bad look. You've had bad PR for a while now, and he's like just talked about. He was just reaming them and saying like every he said, what did he say, like every other week or something like that, like Xbox and your competition is having all these things come out, and things are coming out on Game Pass, and nothing's coming out. And he said there's nothing, and a lot of people, even media types outside of Colin Moriarty, even people outside of them, like media types, have said that there's nothing to play on Sony right now. Like they're like, I have not, like they said, I was enamored, and I wholeheartedly agree. I was, for the first 3 weeks when these consoles came out, I was playing Miles Morales and then checking out Demon's Souls, and then I stopped. Once the Series X came out, it was over. I haven't turned on my PlayStation since. I'm gonna get Returnal. I want to play it. I thought Returnal was $50. It's $70.
My PlayStation fell off a shelf.
You buying it still?
Am I buying Returnal still? I don't know.
Yeah,
Probably,
you still buying it?
Probably.
I'm buying it.
Yeah.
Because I want to play something on it. It's just sitting there right now.
Mine fell off a shelf.
$50 in 30 days.
Baylor.
Hey, Bonds, what were you saying?
In 3 days? All right, I'll wait.
Sponsor.
Nothing.
You had something to say a second ago.
No, I had nothing to say.
My
I was
PlayStation
just
fell off a
chilling.
shelf.
I was chilling.
Man, that person that you were talking about earlier must have called you or something. I need you to
Colin Moriarty, he just went off on them and said that things are looking bad. You're having a lot of bad PR, and it's just not looking good. And he even said that there's no excitement right now. Like he says, I know you're going to bring games, but show us. And then he kind of thought about it, and he's like, when are these games even coming out? Because they said God of War. Jim kind of already hinted that God of War is not coming out this year like they said it was. Horizon's probably coming out the end of this year, but we don't know. Things could get delayed. And then, all we're, kind of getting is, Returnal and then Ratchet and Clank in June. And that's pretty much all we know, right?
As far as big titles,
it's a completely different Sony right now. Sony used to be the one that would come out and talk about things that were 4 or 5 years out, and now they're playing it super close to the vest and everything. And let's not can't underestimate the fact that people just like to be excited, and they want to be excited about the things that they own. Even like working in a store, people come into the store all the time, like, yo, when's the next PlayStation 5 game coming out? And I'll be like, if you're into road roguelike stuff. Returnal's the next one, and Ratchet and Clank, and it's like, man, I'm just tired of playing the games that I'm playing. They really ain't talking about anything. I know God of War and stuff's coming, but what about, they're not getting me excited for just owning the console. And I think that's kind of the thing that Xbox has done a great job, even knowing they haven't had a first party release this year, since they haven't had one at all. They've been constantly giving us updates on everything going on with the system, things we're going to be playing inside of their service Game Pass, and features that are coming to the brand new to the system that people are going to be able to enjoy. All that stuff adds up to keeping your consumer base just excited for maybe not the games you're making because they know they're coming, but they know that at least the things that I'm beginning in the near term are going to hold me over. That's why people are like, yo, what is Xbox going to announce for May Game Pass? Is it
exactly
what's the next big game? Because they already set a precedent that's something that's going to actually happen.
They just announced today even more games coming to Game Pass at the end of April. Like we got Destroy All Humans, we got that Extinction game coming out. Like these other games that like they're not making a big deal out of, right? They're just announcing it on a Tuesday on Twitter. Hey, this is also coming to Game Pass. And that's something that we like, right? Like, oh, cool. Like another cool game, like Destroy All Humans. I'm going to play the shit out of that. I want to play it. Like all these other games that it's like kind of smaller. And then you talk about Outriders, like a big announcement, right? That's a big tease and they teased it deservedly so. And then MLB The Show dropping it big, all these other, like that one was huge. Like, all these other games, it's like, cool, this is kind of awesome. But now we're wondering what's going on in May, and it keeps the mind share of always on Xbox. And that's something that Colin Moriarty talked about too. And he even talked about the Days Gone developers, how they got broken up. Like half of them were afraid that they were going to get swallowed up by Naughty Dog because Sony only trusts Naughty Dog and Sony Santa Monica and Guerrilla Games. Like apparently that is like, you work for those three studios. And even other studios within Sony that were brought in and hired to like help other like Naughty Dog and all them finish their games, kind of get it across the finish line. Even after they did all that for years, they were kind of like, hey, do you think we can make our own game? And Sony was like, go fuck yourself.
They're like,
no, like creative freedom, which is just sad, first of all. But
damn, Zach, you hammering Sony hard today, sir.
Hey man, fuck it. Show me what you got. I don't give a shit, man. PS4 is over. It's done. I played those games.
He said it's the age of Xbox. That's what he just said.
You know what? I know you're Zucker, but you're sleeping on Sony right now. You really are, because look.
How am I sleeping on them?
Okay, because here's the situation. So Sony is all about those big blockbuster games, right? We've heard all about that stuff, and we've seen what they've done with the PlayStation 4. But what Forte, you said it earlier that this is different Sony, and they're not really saying much. They're keeping most stuff close to their chest. Yeah, it is a bit different this time. It seems like they are kind of doing that. But you got to understand, they did announce Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. They announced Ragnarok, God of War.
Gran Turismo.
Those games were supposed to come out this year. We know they're getting delayed. They're not coming out this year. So those will be out next year. Those are big bangers coming out next year. And then on top of that, there are studios that are very quiet right now. They're going to bring something big. Because right now, that Last of Us remake that's happening, a very small team is working on that. So the rest of Naughty Dog are going to come with something huge. And I think we just got to wait and see.
I mean, I'm not sleeping on Sony. I've said in my videos, I've said here, I've even said that Sony's first party, which is their biggest asset, can compete with Game Pass if they put day and date. They have amazing first party games that I would subscribe to it. I'm not sleeping on them, but I'm not also sitting here going like, oh, I expect this and this. I know that Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch aren't going to bring out a game for a while. They just brought out a game, a little less than a year ago. So they're at least 2-3 years away. Like I get that. Guerrilla Games this year, Sony Santa Monica next year, I get it, but I'm not sleeping on them because they don't have as many studios as Xbox does. It's not sleeping.
In defense of Sony, I'll say that every generation when they come with a new console, it's pretty much a slow start. It's like the second year of the console's lifespan. That's when you really start to see them, announcing games and games starting to come out in rapid succession. But with Xbox this time around, even though they don't have the first party games ready, and we do know of some that are coming, we don't know the full breadth of the games that are coming. But with Game Pass, once again, it is getting gamers mindshare. Like I see so many posts, like in forums and stuff when guys are like, man, you know what? I have a PlayStation, but you know what? I got to get an Xbox too because that Game Pass service, it's just a no brainer. Or I have other guys saying, you know what? I'm gonna wait a couple of months for the PlayStation, or I'll wait a year for the PlayStation. I don't really want to play Spider-Man, but I got all these deals. I got all these games in Game Pass, which is a phenomenal deal. So Game Pass is really helping the sales of the Series X and the Series S consoles, and just the brand in itself. And of course, you got the cloud gaming component to it, just making it a great value. So I got to say, they're hitting it out the park with Game Pass, and they're becoming a premier service. Like,
I want to mention, like, hang on, dude, like Game Pass is awesome, right? Like, we all love Game Pass, but we got to remember that Sony announced a lot of games, right, D? Like, they've announced Ratchet and Clank, they've announced God of War, they've announced Horizon Forbidden Burritos, they've announced Gran Turismo 7, they've announced like several games. But people act like Microsoft haven't announced anything. Like, there's Hellblade 2, there's Avowed, there's Fable, there's Everwild, there's Forza Motorsport, and there's Halo Infinite, there's State of Decay. I mean, those are just the random studios that they already freaking had. Now,
and they've also gone on record saying that they haven't announced everything. There's other games that they just haven't announced.
Well, there's also Bethesda games that haven't been announced, and then there's also those third-party published published games. Like Returnal House Marquee's not owned by Sony, right? So it's that's a third-party deal, right? So it's a big game, but like Xbox has other third-party deals that people are talking about now. And don't get me wrong, Sony has Deathloop and third-party deals, but
so do Microsoft. We just talked about some. Yeah,
exactly. It says Microsoft, and that's the difference. Is that right now, because of the landscape and the changing of the guard with Game Pass, Xbox does seem like they have things coming to it more, but in reality, it's just coming to Game Pass, and that's what makes everybody able to play it without needing to drop $70 on it.
Yeah, so that's the biggest difference. That's the difference, and that's where I even spoke about that in the video too. Is it's going to come to a point where these casuals are going to look at these games and go, "Do I want to spend $70 over here or get it in Game Pass over there with hundreds of other titles?" That is a huge thing that's going to become more and more of a a thing for these a hurdle for some of these gamers to get over and wonder, hey, should I really be sticking to just this one console for $70 games, or should I go out and buy an Xbox?
And just on the narrative of Game Pass and like, oh, it's not a profitable model. I think Sony said something on that effect. Now think about it. You have
not for you.
some Sony games sell like 1 million, sell 2 million copies, whatever. So would you rather have the 2 million that pay $60 a pop one time, that's it and they're done? Or would you rather have 30, 35, 40 million people paying $15, $20, whatever the rate is per month for Game Pass? That's just a higher metric. And once you get attached to these services and it's a good service, you stay on it. Like I wanted to use the example of Netflix. When Netflix first started, everyone's like, "Oh, what the fuck is this Netflix crap?" Now, you can't live without Netflix. You can't. Yeah. And now it's starting to become like that way with Disney. Like I canceling freaking Disney.
The funny thing is, go ahead, Fonz.
Oh, I was gonna say just real quick. I started out with Netflix way back in the day because they started near me, and I was renting discs from them back in the day when they first started. So it was crazy. Like it would take literally just a day to get the disc because they were right a couple of cities over where they started out. So
yep, yeah. And what I was gonna say is that the funny thing is that people kind of laugh about like, oh, Xbox is not gonna have their games for another 2 to 3 years. 2022, 2023, blah blah blah. And it's like, damn. So you're telling me they're not even firing on all cylinders yet, and we already have this many games? Damn. That's all right. That's a little overwhelming when you think about it like that. Because once those first-party games start dropping, including those third-party games, what the fuck do you think is going to happen, people?
Yeah, especially when you get third-party games like Battlefield 6, maybe, or something like that, of that caliber. That is what draws a lot of the casuals, into buying any of these consoles, is these third-party games. I don't care what people say. It's like, exclusives are amazing and they mean a lot. Don't quote me otherwise saying that they don't. They do. But at the end of the day, the majority of the games bought on those consoles, on any console, is third-party games, and it'll always be that way.
Yeah, and the more games they get put into Game Pass, those games inherently, even if they're on both platforms, just they pseudo become Xbox exclusives because the part of the part of the game they're going to talk about the most is the fact that you can get it in the subscription service if you already have it. And I think that's a very powerful message that people kind of overlook. And the more time that passed that people aren't able to get these next generation systems, and they're talking about going into 2022 when you can comfortably get one. What's the conversation going to be then around Game Pass and what's it going to be for PlayStation? By that time, PlayStation might have we'll know Ratchet and Clank will release. We know Returnal will come out. We don't know if Horizon is going to be out by then. We already knew God of War wasn't coming this year, so we might only get 2 games from first party, and then whatever third party like exclusives that they have lined up through Sony. But if Xbox every month has something big going inside of it, like you say, if they do get Madden 22 going in there, and they get Battlefield in there, and they get FIFA and stuff like that, those games will be talked about more on the Xbox side than anywhere else. And people that don't have systems yet, if they can get a chance to buy an Xbox Series X over a PlayStation 5 and that Xbox Series X pop up on a website, they say, you can get this right now. Most people, a lot of, like Fonz just said, a lot of people that are casual, they're just going to jump and get the system that's available at that point.
I got
Comes with 2 weeks of Game Pass too.
Exactly.
I got to play devil's advocate as well. What if PSN, what if their PlayStation Now service starts adding more and more big third-party deals? That would be some good competition there as well.
Well, that's the thing that everybody, that's the thing we've been talking about for the longest, saying that, my only fear, I'm not even going to say fear, my only concern about what Sony is doing is them not having anything to combat these games are literally showing up on another platform for a cheaper price than you could actually get it for. Like, we can, not only do we get games in Game Pass for our subscription price, but if those games ever leave Game Pass, we get them at a 20% discount. And you pay full price on PlayStation. So that at a certain point is going to actually have to be a deciding factor for a lot of people, especially if a lot of these games are going to be $70. Like, I know you don't like that, Five, but nope. We already know Battlefield 6 is probably going to be $70 when it comes out.
Now you got to put that evil on it.
Look, it's more than like, look, I don't care if it's $70 because, Battlefield, I love Battlefield, and I just want modern combat to come back to Battlefield, and if it does, that's all I really care about.
You're willing to spend $10 more for that. What else are you willing to spend $10 for?
I bought Demon Souls day one.
Oh shit!
I bought that day one, so I bought.
Enough said. I get it.
I bought Godfart for $10 more, and that was terrible.
Never heard it called.
You bought God Awful for $70.
That's a next gen only game. How's it not look better than Red Dead?
And that's what made me rethink Returnal. I'm like, yeah, I'll wait for a discount.
By the way, don't forget that Alfonso points out that Jason Ronald talked about it. His favorite game this year that on Xbox or an Xbox game that's not released yet. So that could be one of the ones we just talked about as well. So we'll see. William Lanza says, so good. We'll charge you $70 for it. And then Others Inc. Shout out to you. He says, tell it. Yeah, Microsoft Xbox got a lot of games, and I guess, and again, they're full on. Hellblade did not, Forza did not, Fable did not, Avowed did not. So many games that they're not confirmed for Xbox One, right? So they're coming to next gen systems, and they might look better than Halo 1 from the original Xbox.
Yeah. I could be very wrong on it, but to me, everything I've seen from Returnal just does not look like it's worth $70.
What type of game is it?
It's a roguelike shooter. It's a third-person roguelike shooter.
You do know that we're going to charge you $70 for Destruction All-Stars, right? Like,
yeah, that too.
That shit's fire.
It was $40.
But I thought they were selling enough consoles.
Who cares? And people wouldn't think about. They do it.
Hang on. Sapphire has a comeback to all this games talk. He says, "Well, what makes you think Sony doesn't have games they haven't announced? Do you not understand that Microsoft have not announced anything from Bethesda and several other studios as well? Yeah. By the way, they have so much apparently that Gears 6, the last one came out a couple years ago now, is not even going to be at E3 this year apparently, or any kind of Gears of War project. So I don't know. That's a report coming in.
I think Gears is gonna. I've heard that Gears, they're giving the Gears team a lot of time. Like because they relied on them so much in the Xbox One, and they're kind of like, hey, go to the drawing board, because that's kind of what we said, right? Like Gears needs a little more time. Let them figure some stuff out, and come back really fresh with some fresh ideas, and that usually takes about 4 or 5 years
Yeah,
to
that
do.
game needs to disappear for a while.
Like, no, but I mean, like, I already want another Gears. I want to play. Like,
Yeah,
I love Gears.
Gears 5 is good.
Gears 5 was
Gears
amazing.
5 is good. I like them. I like all the stuff they're adding to the game. I'm just saying, at a certain point, the game in general, they just need to go to the drawing board and come up with some new stuff.
Bro,
Distance makes the heart
don't
grow
you believe?
fond.
Don't you think that they should add more abilities and stuff, some cool things, like even if it's
I think they
all
need to add
mechanical
armor,
stuff for your
bro.
suits
Like,
and stuff.
Yeah,
the
I do
armor.
I do believe they need to add that armor.
Yeah.
I think Outright has kind of opened that up, like with the whole armor and customization. I understand the Gears. I understand.
Hang on, one time. All right.
Yeah.
So you're saying Outriders opened it up?
No.
No.
I thought I
Gears
heard
Tactics
Forte say
opened
that.
up customization.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's saying like how in Outriders you can move a little quicker, or that you can put like mods on your guns that do different things.
Yeah, I would
little
like
stuff
that.
like that.
Well,
like,
I'm
Gears.
going to bring up Gears Tactics because this is the first thing I was thinking when I was playing the early version of the game. They have built all of the attachments, the armor mods, everything in Unreal Engine 4, scales up to 4K, and there's a reason they've done that with Gears Tactics, and I think you'll see that in Gears 6. You'll be able to change out your Lancer parts and armor, and this is stuff me and Colt, when we were reviewing the game before release, was sitting there saying to ourselves, man, I wish we could find some armor or some weapon parts or something that would make this exploration a little bit more worth it, right, Colt?
Like,
Right.
imagine if you got like a Lancer upgrade part on your gun that widens the white area in your active reload, so you have more of an area to get like the ultimate reload time, or just like certain buffs, like where you can extend the magazine or speed up the fire rate, and like there's little things they can do without really changing gears. But when you look at tactics, like there's stuff there.
Somebody in the chat said they don't want it to be like a looter shooter, and I agree with that. I'm not trying to say make it a looter shooter. I'm just saying make it to where you can get different parts and change things out.
Yeah, if you're out in the open world, like remember you're out in the open world, you get like a little side area where you go and you don't really pick up anything other than cog tags, right? You pick up the batteries, which you can upgrade jacks. So we already knew like what they wanted to do, and they didn't quite get there. I still feel like Coalition feels like they don't want to screw with the formula, but it's time to screw with the formula because Gears 5 is awesome.
I would say it like this. I would like it to be more RPG heavy,
Yeah, just a little. Yeah.
And you should have Kratos. No, I mean, yeah, Gears 5 is good for what it was, but it needed a little more time to fill out maybe some of those features we're requesting. That's just our opinion, though. Chat, let us know yours. And again, somebody mentioned, who was that? I'm trying to find you. Somebody mentioned the slow servo. He's talking about the slow start, and he does bring up a good point. Like, you can't even find the damn system still. That's still an issue, so much so that NBA 2K21, the next gen version, doesn't even have an online version of Team Up. Like, you have to find people in groups and stuff like that. You can't even search publicly.
This really has to be said because Servo, like, borderline harasses me in my comment section and on this podcast. Like, he constantly over and over, he says, I feel like I'm a broken record. And I'm like, yeah, basically what he's saying is he wants Microsoft to fix the way people buy this Series S and X on their website. Because bots can get a hold of it and throw them on eBay. And this is a problem worldwide on every retailer. No retailer is moving on this because they don't care. They are selling out their stock as quickly as possible. They're making their money and they're not worried about it. And it sucks. But Microsoft.com and Xbox.com could be the one place where they actually tie it down and fix it. But I don't know if they're doing anything about it. But I don't know what we could say. We've asked for them to do something to get bots from just grabbing consoles, but I just don't think it's that simple.
I think
we've got CAPTCHA and all this
conversation.
I don't know how prevalent the bots are on Microsoft's own site because they drop so sporadically. I don't think the bots really watch that site because when I have access to like what they see, right? And they never really trigger Microsoft's site too much. So
and Microsoft's like one of 20 or 30 main sites that are selling the console. If they did something, I don't even know if it would move the needle. And I also think that Microsoft has things set up so they have ultimate security. And if they try to come out with a way to stop the bots, that they couldn't do it in a timely manner. This is what I'm assuming. If they went out on a ledge to try and fix this bot situation, they need to protect the security of the site and purchases on their website. And that's just not a priority right now. It's crappy, but I'm saying this because I don't want Servo X to continue to tell us over and over that we have to say something. And we do have an audience, but we've said something. I consider the matter closed. There's nothing more I can do about it.
Well, I think the biggest thing, if Servo wants to ask a question and ask somebody to do something, he needs to go to Sony, he needs to go to Microsoft and talk to them and tell them, yo, why are we selling these systems in stores? Because ever since Sony, right when they announced the system, said it was going to be sold online only, they said that they don't want people crowding stores. That has been the narrative. That's why you haven't seen a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox inside of a physical store since Black Friday, because Xbox has never done that, but most of the retailers are following the lead of what Sony did. So they say, well, if we're not going to sell the PlayStations in store, we're not going to sell the Xboxes, and we'll just sell everything online. And until we get to a point where Sony or somebody comes out and says, yes, we want these sold in stores, because guess what? If you can sell them in stores, then you won't have this bot problem. Your people will be able to go to a store and pick these systems up. It's still so many people. Like I get more phone calls at the store. Hey, you got PlayStation 5, you got Xbox Series X. And I'm like, at a certain point, I'm thinking like, didn't y'all hear that they don't sell these things in store? But there's a lot of people that just aren't in the know to the stuff that we know, and know that these things will never be sold into stores until Sony and Microsoft come out and say, yes, sell these things in stores. And that's why retailers won't do it. So if you want to ask a question and you want to question like why bots are so prevalent, you need to talk to Sony and Microsoft and ask them, yo, sell these things in stores so people can go to the stores and pick them up.
Apparently that's happening, right? So Kirby, he's a game developer. He's a moderator in the chat. He does mention that Microsoft is actively working against bots and deploying more systems than ever. They're trying to actually relocate where a lot of the stock is going, so people have to go in and pick them up. And Servo does say, thank you, Dealer and Colt. That's all I wanted. And he didn't mean to sound like he was harassing you, Colt.
And I was just being, I was kind of being over dramatic. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate you, and I know it's super frustrating. And I mean, I pre-ordered mine day one, and then just waited until it released. But I mean, 60 to 80% of the people out there can't even freaking get a console right now. I was actually looking at eBay today because some of them was talking about the PS5s being scalped, and there are so many auctions for 25,000, 15,000, 999,000, or 100. Like they're for 1,000 and 15,000. Over and over, and one of them was 25 grand for a PS5, and it said 44 sold.
Wow!
And it was and they paid eBay to promote it, so it's at the very top. And I'm like, this person has made like, what was it, like $220,000 selling PS5 just by saying, oh, I'll take this down to the post office and slap a sticker on it. It's unreal. It's ridiculous. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and putting the consoles in physical stores was something that nobody wanted to do for a while, because for several months, nobody wanted to go to a store, wasn't going to a store. It's just horrible.
D-Batch, I want to hear from you, but you kind of sound far away from the mic, brother, so that might be why you get cut off. Yeah.
I just want to say what Colt's saying about the companies, they don't care because they're just making the money. I have to second that, because all they have to do is simply put a capture on, because the bots, especially if it's a complex capture, like choose all the boats or choose all the bikes or something like that. The bots
choose the Sony fans.
The bots literally can't get past that, right? So they could implement that. They don't care to an extent because they're making so much money. So
yeah,
I don't see them coming. Like Kirby saying, it is coming into some stores, and
they would make the money anyway, though. I mean, gamers would
make
buy
more
these
money if they put them in stores.
It's like that. It's in demand effect. So I want it because I can't have it type bullshit.
Yeah. So the supply.
Again, we don't know if that's true. I'm just explaining what he means.
Yeah, but the supply and demand creates more of a frenzy for it, because if you see it in stock all the time, you're not as inclined, right? But if you know this is not in stock and you see it in your stock, you're like, oh my god, it's in stock, I gotta get it now, and you impulse buy it, right? So it does make a difference. it's kind of strange to see that they are bringing it into the stores in the States, seeing how we're still kind of going through the pandy, and gamers are pretty crazy to the point where
They'll
they
let you pick it up in store. Like you could buy it online and pick it. I haven't seen
Yeah, that's
anybody
fine.
sell
That's
it in
fine.
store, but
That's
you can
fine.
buy
I
it
don't
online and
understand.
pick it up in store. I've seen that, but not physically walk in the store and here's my credit card or here's my $500 to buy it directly there.
Yeah. To buy and pick it up in store, that's fine. Yeah, they should be doing that. I'm surprised they're not.
Apparently, you
Well,
can
Best
buy a
Buy
capture
does that.
bypass for chump change, according to Kirby. So,
Well,
I don't know, Kirby.
Just looked it
Yeah,
up,
that's
and
good
and
insight.
there are bots that get around CAPTCHA. I just read it. People are talking about it.
Wow.
That's the
Wow,
problem.
they've evolved. Jeez.
He
They've
said they
evolved.
evolved.
Obviously they're getting around that, and it's just one of those things that is Microsoft going to write it out? You're like maybe they're looking at like this is going to be better in a month or two. Why put all these people on this and compromise security? I don't know how that works. Is Zoc, are you still here? Like
Yeah,
if
man.
It's
you
not going to be.
like Zucker, what if Microsoft went out and tried to make a different way to keep bots off? Like, is that a risky venture, or is it something they're just being lazy?
It depends. Like CAPTCHA, what I used to program, they weren't able to get through it. But like the last several years, there was bots developed by people to like kind of like combat it. Like right, be like, hey, find a way to do this for us, so we can fight it. Kind of know your enemy, and they were able to get by CAPTCHAs 99% of the time. A couple of the coders. So now it's about the problem and putting because it's all algorithms, right? It's understanding that. So now they got to find a way to combat that, and so CAPTCHAs were the way of doing that, but now we don't know what the way is to do that, and people just keep it so you don't make new accounts and stuff like that, but nothing to stop bots from getting and purchasing items like like you said, Colt. Nobody wants to do that.
DeAndre said, "Who's going to pay $25,000 for either console? Rich people.
Rich people.
That's nothing. That's nothing to them. So they're basically selling to rich celebrities that want PS5s.
$25,000 though. That $25,000, what that is people running up the bid to screw the seller, and then at the end when it's time to pay, they say, "Aha, screw you." So they're not selling for $25,000, but they are
44 sold though. I don't know.
Not at $25,000, no.
Yeah.
What if it's like $10,000?
Yeah, but
Right now-
if they mark it sold, it's sold. But that person's not going to pay that. They are going for 2 to 3 times the price, though.
I could buy one right now for $750, like if I wanted to. But again, scalpers they're all over the place with that. But Kirby Louise says in the chat, it's not the bots that get around CAPTCHA. It's real people that solve the CAPTCHAs. Then they save the verification key and hand it to the bot.
Damn it! I wanted robots that solved CAPTCHAs, Kirby.
So that's how invested these scalpers are. And yeah, if you look all over eBay or anything, there's so many sites where they have literally hundreds in warehouses, maybe even thousands of just PS5 sitting there.
I can't stand CAPTCHA because when they say highlight or choose all the traffic lights, I'm like, does that include the arm that's holding the traffic light? Does it include the crosswalk
Need more
light
details.
that's on the corner? And so I do that. And it's like failed, and it's like now choose all the bikes.
I'll
I'm
take
like,
that.
but that guy's on a motorcycle. Is that a bike?
I'll take that
dealer.
over all the little the numbers and letters that are all freaking squiggly and stuff. Sometimes those are freaking
Get drunk
hard,
and then
so-
solve this CAPTCHA. Hey, by the way, Colin or Colonel 2005. Shout out to you, brother. He does say he looked it up. It's 5,000, not 25. So apparently that price has dropped. Or they relisted it or something.
I
But,
looked this morning and it said 25.
Yeah, so it used to be 25,000. Now it's down to 5.
It
So
dropped down to
maybe
5
he's right,
today.
and they're like pissed. They relisted it or something.
It's just weird to see 44 sold. It's like, wow, fooling his money. I'll tell you what. Imagine spending $25,000 on a console to play just a few games and then wait for return.
Oh,
on
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Imagine just spending anything over, retail. It's stupid. Like, stop. Wait for it to be available. Don't go out there and pay these scalpers. It's not a good thing, man.
Yeah, you shouldn't be paying.
Can't you make your own PS5 for 25,000?
I think so.
You could make about freaking 10 or 15 of them for that freaking price.
Hire D-Batch, everyone. We'll give you his number at the end, and he'll make you a bunch of PS5s. And he won't even, he'll give you the white or give you the black wings instead of the white wings too. You'll love it.
24 karat gold.
My PS5 fell off a shelf. So let's go ahead and
down the hill.
Hey, what sound did it make when those plastic wings came off?
it made the noise that R2D2 made when he got shocked in the movie. No, not a guy. That sounded like a bunch of weird guys in a podcast making it. I don't know what that was. Sorry, Chad. By the way, as we kind of do our outro here, I planned on ending the show like 30 minutes ago, but as we kind of do our outro here, we could talk about MLB The Show on Xbox. Anybody tried it, guys? Again, if you joined us, 1800 tonight, thank you so much. Hit the like button, share it out. We do appreciate it. As we continue our final thoughts on MLB The Show on Xbox. Again, let's try to get to 1,000 likes for the show. You guys power everything that we do. I got to say that merch is pinned in the live chat and will be pinned down in the description. Shout out to the channel members, patrons, everyone joined, and everyone that said hi. And the moderators, Lethal, Obi, all you guys, even though there's a little bit of drama tonight. But again, Colt, you've played MLB The Show on Xbox, day one. Microsoft actually sent us some codes for the game a couple days before it came out, right? So what are your thoughts on this?
I've played RBI, and I don't want to play it ever again. MLB is really nice. I'm just trying to figure out to get the right modes. Like I want a full non-automated. I don't want anything automated. So I've played a couple things that I really enjoy. The game looks pretty good. I'm curious to see how it's going to turn out. It's just kind of weird that this one happens to be. I don't know. It's not really a lower rated. It's just a couple reviews in. It's probably going to change. But yeah, I'm glad I'm playing. So what's score? Really I grew up on baseball. I've been playing since I was about 6. I played till I was in high school, and I just always enjoyed the sport. And people are like, baseball's boring. Who cares about baseball? Well, MLB is the number 18th best-selling game on the PlayStation platform, including multiplats, I guess. So a lot of people care.
So as you're playing the game, like if you go up to bat, you bat, you do your thing, and then the next thing, the next guy who comes up on your team is a computer?
No, there's like certain things where
you choose the hitters and you choose who controls the hitters. AI, player 1, 2. And
I did a game where I played the entire game where I batted every batter, and then I pitched, and every time the ball got hit off the bat, I fielded it with whoever the ball would go to. Okay. And then the next game, it highlighted this game this player on the Braves. I don't know why I'm telling you a story, but anyway, it skipped the game until it was his at bat. And then it skipped until he was on base, and then it skipped until he fielded the ball. I'm like, what are you doing? The next game thing. I'm like, I didn't choose this.
Were you playing Diamond Dynasty?
I was doing March to October. So it started me off playing the entire game, playing the game like you would any regular sports game I play, as every person who is like interacting with the ball. And I'm just trying, I got to figure that all out. I got to go through the settings. There's a lot in the game, a lot of stuff. I built a custom Colt Eastwood. It looks really dorky, and I made him left-handed. You get to choose the batting stance. So I picked one that looked a lot like my batting stance, and picked a black glove. Like, it was just really cool, man.
A silver glove like Michael Jackson?
Yeah, the sequin glove.
Now, before he bats, does he do the whole crotch grab thing?
Yeah, he does. Well, I mean, all baseball players do.
What's your furthest home run?
Only about 512, I think. Somebody tweeted at me and said they got like a 647-foot home run.
Damn.
Wow.
Yeah,
didn't happen if you can't show it.
Yep. Pixar, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
That's what I was told.
That's one thing I appreciate about the game. Is the level of difficulty that you can set. You can, like, obviously you want to set it at the highest simulation point that you can. And when you do that, the game is freaking hard, man. I'm not finding it that easy. Like, I've played it in previous years, but I just like picked it up and played it online or just in the easy mode. This year, because it's on Xbox, and I went out and got the Jackie Robinson edition. I said, okay, let me try it, at the hard level. And it's.
Are you a baseball fan, D?
Yeah, I am a baseball fan. I'll be honest. Over the years, it's waned a little bit for me.
Yeah, I don't know any players, but don't you love how they totally nail the feeling of being or watching a broadcast baseball game, like NBA 2K does, like the sounds and the feel and the timing and the camera work. Like, oh, it's really great.
Yeah, it's very accurate. It's a good game overall. I've got to say this one thing though. When I turned the game on and saw that Sony Interactive Studios shooting up on my Xbox, that was such a trip out, man. I can't lie.
I was like, "Is this my PlayStation? Am I on the right system?"
Get used to seeing that. You never know.
Oh Lord.
I went straight to the home run derby. I don't give a shit. I have fun with that. So I literally went there and I was like, I'm gonna hit some home runs, and I played for like 30 minutes, just home run, did the whole thing. It was a lot of fun, man. home run derbies are fun. So I was just trying to see like, oh, how do you hit and everything. I don't give a shit about pitching. I'm not a big baseball fan, so
Well,
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the home run derby. I can see me going like against friends with that, but that's about it. I mean, I'll play it here and there just to see how it looks.
real quick, I got to get out of here, so I'm just gonna say, yeah, follow me at Fonzarelli Gaming here on YouTube. I want to make the announcement too that this Sunday, actually the 25th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is right after the Iron Lords podcast. I'll be doing my show, my live stream for an hour, and the guest I will have on, my first guest is going to be Chris Grinnell. He really wanted me to do this. And he asked me, you know, he'd be honored to be on it and stuff. And it's really cool of him. We've talked a lot in DMs. So he's going to be my first guest. And of course, he's worked with PlayStation. He worked with PlayStation back in the day. And I think it was almost 15 years. So developer, great guy. He's been on RDX several times. Really fun to talk to. So it's going to be me and him talking one-on-one. So come by, check that out. And other than that, you know, I've been playing Outriders. Well, I beat Outriders and I'm done with it. So beat the game, finally done with it. I'm on to, I played a little bit of Octopath Traveler. I actually like it a bit. JRPG.
Great game, bro.
Game Pass. And I'm going to try MLB as well. So
you got to.
That's what I'm doing on
you
my
can download
Xbox.
it right now, Fonzarelli.
Yeah.
Check out Fonz's channel, seriously. And Chris Grinnell, good friend of the show, fantastic guest. And he's actually going to be on the show sometime here soon as well. You got to go, you got to ask him, right? And this is a question right from the Hellboy. He says, where was y'all when we was playing Recore? So be sure and ask Chris that question. All right.
Okay.
We were all talking about Recore and how we don't want to play it. That's where I was. Anyway.
Awesome.
I
But yeah.
played it like 2 years later, and there you go.
But yeah, shout out to Fonz. Follow him. And thank you, Fonz, for all your insight and good opinions.
Problem, brother.
We'll be all over there after the Iron Lords end their show. You know, they can go long sometimes.
Yeah.
Shout out to Iron Lords.
Yeah, I asked him, I was like, hey, man, you know, what time are you guys going to be off, you know? And at first they said, you know, 3 p.m. Eastern time. And I go, I don't know
He
about
changed
that.
it to 4 o'clock.
So I'm like, okay. So I said, I'm going at 3:30. If they run a little long, that's, you know, so be it. I know that it's a great show. I don't miss it. I listen to it at night at work, but if I can't be there live, but yeah, I'm just excited to get this off the ground, start going.
Yeah, man. Good luck.
And good luck. Yeah. Seriously, that time slot. It's got to be flexible, I guess, or just do your thing. You know, the people want to hear your show.
Do it.
So again, follow Fonz at Fonz Early Gaming.
All right, man.
All right, brother.
Later, Fonz.
And
hey guys, remember your phone has picture-in-picture. You could do both at the same time.
You could. Real rap G. Anyway, anyone else playing movie the show? Zachary, you like the home run derby? I struck 6 people out in like the first game or second game or some crap.
Did you play dynamic difficulty?
No.
You just
You
put it
probably
straight
did.
up
I think
to
it's on default, I think.
Yeah.
It feels good
It
when
feels too easy, so I'm not even going to say that I don't know what difficulties it's on, but it feels like it's easy. So you might want to put it on, like if there's make sure it's on at least medium by default. They might have lowered the difficulty because baseball hasn't been on Xbox in so long. I don't know.
No, I would, if I was anybody, let it stay on dynamic because I played about 4 games, and by my 3rd game, I felt like, oh boy, this is a completely different game.
Yeah,
Because it literally scales to how you play the game, and as you pick up nuances and your swing pattern and everything, the pitchers react to you a lot differently. They throw you, because when you first start playing, it feels like they're just throwing you a bunch of strikes and you hit a bunch of home runs. And then by the time you get to your second game, they adapt to you. Then the third game, they adapt more. By my fourth game, it was ridiculous.
Those freaking change-ups, man. Oh, man,
Yeah,
I get
it's
so mad.
crazy.
I about pushed the A button. I'm using the A button to swing. I about push it through the bottom of the controller because I'm reaching so hard trying to dig into that changeup. I get so angry. It's
It's a good game, man. It just sucks that for some strange reason they want to, have a.
I thought the show
down.
had like some like exaggerated, like kind of cool stuff into it too. Does that come later or?
No,
I thought
like
they
it's
had
a
to-
baseball game through and through. Like,
No, that's baseball through and through, bro.
but I will say that Gavin House, He's basically saying this is a delusional group of people trying to convince themselves Xbox is doing well with 0 games. Oh, man. Gavin, put your face up to the screen so I can smack the shit out of you. All right. I mean, obviously, with 23 studios, 30 plus teams, multiple games announced, right? You're going to probably have some games, including one of your games. It will be the show. And I thought it was pretty decent. I hit a bunch of home runs, got some achievements, and I will never play it again because I'm not really into baseball. That's just me, though. Let us know if you're into baseball in the chat and how much you're enjoying it will be the show. What's the Metascore on this game right now?
I think it was
like 76, 78 probably.
But why is it so low?
Most reviews aren't even in. It's like 11 reviews on the PlayStation 5. Like it's nothing really to hold on to yet.
Yeah.
It's still got time.
Also, too, that like I hate to say it, but obviously some journalists have some bias, and I'm sure that it's getting docked a few points because it's on the Xbox. That's their little protest. The game,
I don't know.
The game
Forbes gave the last one a 90, and they're giving this one a 70.
Yeah,
I haven't looked. It's probably a different writer, so different opinions, and games change when they make new versions. But
the game hasn't departed that much from the core of what it is. It's just simple refinements to the gameplay. Obviously, the graphical tweaks on the next generation.
Does it have like legacy players other than like they have like 20?
Yeah, they have their
legendary ones, but you can't do like NBA 2K and grab like teams from the 90s or anything like that.
That's a good. I haven't checked to see. Yeah. From what I saw, most people that are having an issue with the game is more with the Road to the Show version of the game because they changed a lot of stuff. I haven't got a chance to play it to see.
That's what I started with.
Yeah, I haven't got a chance to see if they changed a lot, like what they changed, but that seems to be the crux of what a lot of people are saying is kind of the downside of the game, because that was like the part of the game that people, dealt with. They kind of
started with
most.
Yeah, I did Road to the Show. I built my character that looks like me, and then the game starts and it's like hit, out, run, tag, steal. Oh, now it's my turn to bat. And then I would bat, and then it would go play. Then it would just wait until I was up. And then it would wait until someone hit the ball to me at first base.
Yeah.
So everything was simulated. And I'm like, so I played a few games like this. I'm like, maybe it just does this for a little bit. And it's kind of kept going. I'm like, can I change this for Road to the Show? Because this is what I want to do. Because I'm in the farm leagues. Like I'm in AA or AAA playing. And I don't know.
Bush League.
I need to talk to somebody who knows the ins and outs.
Well, it's just like how NBA does it. If you ever play the my player part of it, you only, like when you're on the bench and you're not playing, it skips those parts of the games. The only difference is in baseball, your interaction with the game, unless you're a pitcher, is so limited because you're either getting the ball hit to you. The pitcher's the only one that has the ball consistently in their hands, so you feel like you're more involved in the game all the time. So I think that's kind of what the disconnect is for a lot of people trying to play a baseball game, because it's not as involved as other sports games.
David says that Forbes went from giving it basically 9s for 4 years in a row to a 71.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, but I don't know if it's the same writer.
Good God.
Like people always say, look what Forbes said, and then look what they said a year later, and it's a different author. So you have to look into that.
I mean, they've had to do certain things to speed up the game. I would imagine there's a lot of cuts and jumps, like, okay, I'm back at the bed. They got, it's a slow game inherently, right? Or it can be, and they want players, I guess, to have the option to speed it up, but maybe they should have a mode where that's a little bit jarring, right? Because I'm used to 2K where everything's fluid and real time.
Well, if you play the standard mode and you play with broadcast camera or broadcast presentation, your game could go 3 hours if you have a battle.
So that's not on by default?
No, you have to change it to that.
Okay.
They have it set to
the show, right?
I think it shows like hybrid. That's what it's set to. They have fast pitch, which basically cuts all the cutscenes out. Then they got hybrid, which is like a balance of broadcast and everything. And then broadcast basically gives you the full MLB experience, camera angles and everything.
That's what I'm playing at, and it's so much better. Like,
oh yeah, you
even when it's slow, it feels
TV,
great.
You're watching it.
Yeah.
The crowd looks so horrible, except when there's depth of
What
field.
about that guy? He's a robot, and he's doing like the robot, and I don't know. It's weird. We're seeing this random guy doing like the weird, like, I don't know what you would call that. Those big raid parties they have with the neon all over the place around the wrists, and he's doing this robot dance in the middle of the stands, and somebody behind him gets pegged in the face with a baseball. Like, I just laughed my ass off when I saw that. It's like 4 guys standing there. Cultist.
Yeah.
We got it in the show. But
Yeah, we got.
I'm glad you like MLB the show. I'm glad you like it.
I'm glad. I'm glad I'm liking it because I haven't played a baseball game on a video game system in so long, and I am just glad I'm liking it. So
and again, by the way, this Fight Night Champion back and Pat on Series X. I'm on the left, and yeah, it's a fun time, great time. I will say, Icebon is talking about Resident Evil 8. Apparently, they're capping the resolution with the PS5s. Yeah, this has happened before. Also, Brett.
Capping the resolution.
Yeah, like they're trying to maintain parity, right?
Well, I think from what I saw today, it's running at a checkerboard 4K. They have a checkerboard 4K.
Yeah, apparently this is in that same thing as the anti-Game Pass clause thing.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows though? SFS demo. What's that? Not sure. Pixel BG. Sorry about that. Also, I'm gonna skip to a couple of these super chats. I got most all of them today. Kirby, by the way, shout out to him. He says he thinks the thing people are forgetting about when it comes to xCloud for PC games on the console is that PC gaming right now, you're very limited. You can't buy a GPU if you want, and this is a way for people to actually get a hold of some of these games, which is really cool. Lord Star Killer, he says, let's see Indiana Jones, the graphics advance from LucasArts and God of War. Yes, that would be fantastic. Looking forward to it. Also, DMCR, he says, Jez on the Xbox 2 show, shout out to Randolph Thor, said the images of a cyclone, it's a typhoon, also did 343 get Craig's textures from this fight game. No, they did not. That game is going to be like a tornado F5 simulator. You're going to be able to destroy empty houses. So it's going to be.
I thought
neat.
it was a whirlpool, like a dishwasher or something.
Yeah, dishwasher
Simulator.
Lord Star Killer again says, does Fonz have the betrayal sound? What's that? Betrayal sound bit from Halo multiplayer? He does not, sir. He's got Gotcha Bitch though by Dave Chappelle. CYV Studio says, so the console that didn't have a game at launch has become the console that's the most played, and Series X in Italy, it's doing well there. It's doing well everywhere according to what we know. And then what's it? Philosophy Spencer. Shout out to I don't know. Acute Perspective. Philosophy Spencer should focus on EA Play, possibly Ubisoft Uplay catalog being exclusive to Game Pass and joining PS Now. Maybe. I mean, that could be a thing. Chinook Guy says, I saw a report that said Xbox don't want Game Pass to be on, to be called the Netflix of games anymore. Yeah, they never intended it for it to be that way. It's just something Sati used to explain it to people who didn't understand what they were doing, I guess. Yeah. And then, let me go ahead and get a couple more of these.
Kind of the easiest way to explain it, though.
Yeah, kind of. Except for you can still buy these games, all that stuff. You can even get a discount. Gunny 672, love RDX. Please unblock or unmute me. You are not blocked or unmuted, sir. I'm reading your super chat right here. So you'd also have to be very specific there. Yeah. And then Chinook Guy again. Why has 343 not shown what Halo looks like on console? I mean, they've shown screenshots recently, right? I don't know what
I have that
on.
answer.
Go ahead.
It will look 90 to 99% the same on the Series X. That's probably why.
Yeah.
I think it will. I think it'll look very similar to a.
I mean, even the One X, right? Like they showed, the difference was pretty much frame rate to most people.
Yeah.
Series X is definitely
more resolution. Yeah.
Definitely much closer. So again, shout out to you guys. Shout out to everyone that supported the show and made it what it is, and the guys in the super chat and all that stuff. You unscripted. So let's go ahead and do some outros. Cold Eastwood, tell people where they can find you, sir, and what you've been playing.
Well, I talked about that enough, but you can find me at Cold Eastwood on Twitter and YouTube. And thanks for letting me talk on the show. It's a good time.
Of course. We gotta get you to talk. I'm gonna offer you an Xbox refrigerator if you'll talk twice as much. By the
All
way,
right, just as long as I'm wrong about the, as long as you're wrong about the price.
Oh, for gosh. Yeah, chat. How much do you think that Xbox? Tim and was it Tim and you turned into a mini fridge podcast an episode or two ago?
I thought it would be like a $200 mini fridge, and some of you guys were like $500-600.
I thought it was bigger than it is, though.
Yeah, it's really.
I heard it was only one model or one like prototype that was smaller.
It's close to like 3 times the size of an actual Series X. It's not very big. You can fit like 5 regular cans of soda in it and a cheese stick in the door. It's really, really small. And it's got a sticker on the top that is a photo of the grill. And it's like not real nice. It's not a really nice thing, but I don't know. We'll see. Jared Beasley says $200 for the fridge. I'm pretty sure he's right.
Might be.
Make a whole bunch of them.
Gamers play HUD X0. I don't know how to pronounce that. Yeah, we did talk about the Resident Evil thing a couple different times. The Capcom things. Dr. Chad, shout out to you. He does say that MLB The Show is not worth $60. Thank God for Game Pass. Let us know, chat, if you agree or disagree. Some people are really enjoying the game, and plus, where else are you getting a baseball game, right? So, hey, D-Batch, tell me where they can find you, brother, and what have you been playing?
You can find me on Twitter, D_Batch, of course, on YouTube at DBatch. I should have a video up tomorrow talking about the new features enabled on the Series X and Series S. I played a little bit of MLB, not too much, played a bit of that, but I play mostly COD these days, to be quite honest with you. When I have some spare time, I'm just on COD, man. It was a great show. Yeah.
Jade Price says, best podcast ever. Thank you so much, sir, or ma'am. William Lanza, shout out to you in the chat. Jesse Darby, he's in the chat talking. And Bud the Cyborg, we've seen you in the chat for years, brother. Appreciate it. Violet Farm, Dreadpool, shout out to you, man. Your logo is so dark, bro. It for some reason doesn't pop out. And I just want, now that I've seen your name, I want to say, hey, man, we got to have you back on the show. Also, Servo, shout out to you again. Thanks for your question. We did cover that, as well as Lethal again, and Obi, and all the moderators, and Kirby, who is in the chat as well. Hit the like button if you haven't. Let's try to get close to 1,000 as we do an outro for Zalker87, the man with a million. What have you been playing, and where can people find you?
A million.
I've been playing a lot of Outriders, really enjoying the game. Played a lot of that Warhammer Martyr, which is like the Diablo-esque game. Beat that game. Really cool game. I've been playing a lot of Take-Two, or It Takes Two, sorry. So It Takes Two is that game is so derpy. It's so like imaginative and just a lot of fun. So that, and then obviously MLB The Show, played that today and played it for like about an hour or so, and plan to play a little bit more. A lot of games coming out, like a lot of games that I want to play. I want to play Extinction. I want to play Returnal. Like, I don't know. I've been playing a lot of games. I was talking to Colt about this offline, like, just chatting and stuff. And I said, it's funny, like I save my OLED and my Series X for like big AAA games. And then everything else, like if it's like a smaller game I want to play, I'll play it on xCloud or somewhere else, right? Like Xbox gives me the flexibility to do that. And the ecosystem is just fun. Like you could tell by my gamer score that I've been playing a lot more games, and it's just fun. I don't know, man. They just give me so many things to play that I'm like, hey, I'll try this game out. And next thing I know, I like it a lot. So, yeah, a lot of games going on over here.
Yes, and more coming. K Mega, by the way, is coming on the show next week from GRG. So, and I should be doing his show this week, I do believe. So, shout out to K Mega. He'll be on here, and that will be fun because it's been a long time since we've had K Mega on here, and he's always a nice, charismatic, energetic panel member with a lot of cool, interesting, entertaining things to say, and that's what I like, So again, Zalker, seriously, check Zalker's stuff out. He makes videos every week. Forte, Gaming Forte, thanks for filling in for Tim. We're playing 2K earlier, and just so happened to come up. You came on, and again, thanks for doing what you do, brother. Where can people find you, and what have you been playing?
Yeah, man, I appreciate it, man. I was playing 2K with you earlier. Been doing that a lot over the last month or so, and then really jumped back into Octopath Traveler. I beat it on the Switch, but the only thing the Switch don't give you is achievements, and people keep saying, did you really play that game? I said, yes, I did. I guess I'll play it on the Xbox just to prove it to you. So I'm playing that again on Xbox, which is really enjoyable. And then Outriders, I beat the game. I'm at Expedition Challenge level 9 right now, so working my way through that on the end game. And and then the new season of Destiny popping up. So it felt good to take a break from that game for the last month or so. So outside of that, man, just ready for Mass Effect Legendary Edition to come out. Then I can completely lose myself in something different. But outside of that, man, it's Gaming Forte everywhere: YouTube, Twitter, Xbox Live. If you like the content, DPS podcast every Thursday night at 9 p.m. with my homeboy Slomo Backslap. We talk about Xbox stuff, PlayStation, pretty much everything that you guys hear here. And if you here and if you like the content, make sure you sub to the channel and everything. And I appreciate you, Diller, for the invite as always.
Yeah, thanks for telling him to sub to my channel. No, go check out Forte.
Sub to his channel again and again. Unsub and resub again.
We might get up to 100K twice. There's very few people that hit the milestones twice in this community, so it's thanks to the lack of
start
script.
Giving 10 cents for every person that subs to his channel to charity. That's what he's gonna do.
Mm-hmm. But again, seriously, thanks to everyone that showed up. I am going to say you're awesome. And check out the links down below. Shout out to everyone in the chat. We want to say hi to everyone. We can't. We wish we could. Shout out to everyone that watches this after the fact, the 40 to 60,000 people that check this out after before the next show, basically. Thank you. And if you had anything on your mind, how your day was, or if your girlfriend broke up with us, tell us in the comments.
With us?
Yeah, I mean, sorry, not with us. With Zalker. He's a player, so
yeah.
She might have done that with Zalker.
Ain't no one gonna tie me down.
All right, yeah, we're out, guys. Thanks.
Yeah, that's how you end that shit.
If your girl broke up with you, seriously, tell me in the chat.